I love that music, the technical issue music.
The baby elephant walk. The baby elephant walk.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I like that song.
Okay.
I could play that because my life is technical difficulties.
So is mine.
This I know.
My life is a series.
You get a haircut yesterday?
No.
You just combed it today?
Yeah.
Looks good, man. TexAgs Live. Hey, everybody. Awkward intro presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Rollo Insurance Studio, the Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. So, I went to Theo Vaughn last night.
Okay.
He was here at Reed Arena. Big Theo Vaughn guy. One thing that I thought would happen and definitely happened was getting out of that parking lot was horrendous. 40 minutes to get out for us.
And what was...
What I told my wife we should do was park at TexAgs and walk.
Yeah, that's what I typically do.
Yeah, that's probably what, an 8 to 10 minute walk, right?
It's nothing for you.
It's in and out, baby, like the burger, right? But we waded through, but it was a great show. So those of you who went to Reed Arena had a good old time. Obi, let's talk a little football, shall we?
Let's do.
Okay, so we won't be able to hear from Coach Elko, but you did ask him yesterday about the defense and some of the changes that he made, and I'll kind of, maybe you can sum it up a little bit. Bottom line is, it's something that they took very personally what happened, and not just Coach Elko, the entire coaching staff, and they're working on it. But 3 practices in, let's give it a little time.
Yeah, that's true. And I was asking him about his post-game press conference in Las Vegas when he just went off on A&M's inability to play zone defense. And, what steps have you taken to rectify that situation? And,
how they teach it, how they do it.
And that's what he talked about.
Yeah.
And plus they brought in people, so it's been I'm sure it's something that they've worked on in some degree ever since they got back from Vegas.
Yeah.
And I hope so.
Yeah. Well, because when you think about A&M and what they can be this year, I think there's a couple things that come up. People question the defense for good reason. Mm-hmm. People question quarterback play. Not that they don't think Marcel Reed is good, because I think Marcel does get a lot of props, but he's not in that upper echelon of what SEC quarterbacks are expected to be.
Yeah, which always makes me laugh. Not because he's not considered or rated as here's going to be a great quarterback, but DJ Lagway, who I love, by the way, is. And their numbers and their playing time
very similar.
Are very similar from last year.
I think I've said this before. I think part of that is when you win at the end of the year, that's what people remember. And when you lose at the end of the year, that's what people remember. And people remember A&M losing in November and in December. And DJ Lagway, he won towards the end of the year.
But you also got to take into account the company you're keeping, right? Florida State, beating Florida State, is that really a big deal? Also, why did A&M lose those games at the end of the year for the most part? 2
reasons, in my opinion.
Okay.
Inability to get short yardage situations.
Okay.
And your defense couldn't tackle.
Right. Absolutely. That is your defense in general. You gave up 44 points to South Carolina. Now, Texas, you played them pretty well. You got 14.
But Texas did manhandle you.
They moved the ball up down the field. We just were able to make some plays. And then South Carolina put up I said South Carolina. Auburn, I know it was overtime, but what Auburn scored 44?
Yeah. Was it 21-0 that game? What was?
They were down 21-0.
Yeah.
And then USC.
You couldn't stop them at the end.
Right. So I don't know what quarterback was going to win those games. I mean, you still got to get it done on the other side.
I know, but I think the presentation of winning, the quarterback's going to get the love there, and losing, the quarterback's going to. And I don't think Marcel's taken a beating.
No.
No,
I'm not even saying he should be.
Yeah.
But I'd say this: some quarterbacks get anointed as great or projected to be great.
Yep.
Without actually playing, or playing very minimal.
Like Arch, I understand the hype. I get it, right? The name. He had some flashes last year when he played. Texas they've recruited at a very high level. They seem to change the guard at the wide receiver spot. I understand some of the hype. I also have a hard time for somebody who's got a handful of starts putting him in that top 5, but I get it. Nico got the love last year.
and didn't deserve it.
But he was really good.
Was he?
He was pretty good. He was.
Was he?
Yeah, he was pretty good.
I would disagree.
Okay.
I would disagree that he was, well, I guess it'd be your definition of pretty good.
Would you say he was in the top 6 quarterbacks in the SEC last year?
No, I would not.
Okay, let's try to go through it.
I mean,
Jackson Dart.
I mean, how many quarterbacks run out of bounds on the last play of the game?
Well,
Well, I said this last year. At this time last year, I just didn't get the hype for him, and it was all based on what? Because you had a big game against Vanderbilt. Because in a bowl game, a meaningless bowl game, you ran for 3 touchdowns. And I could see, all right, you're saying, okay, he can run, he can throw. Quite frankly, what I've seen from, and you can debate me on this, what I've seen from Marcel or DJ Lagway as a passer
impresses you more than Nico.
Impressed me than Nico did at this time last year.
Nick, can you look up some of the stats from last year of SEC quarterbacks? And when we go to you, we can kind of talk about those. I did want to go through some of these quarterback battles because A&M's going to take on some teams with new quarterbacks.
Yes, they are.
Okay. And the first one that I want to talk about, and look, I scoured the internet. I haven't gone to Notre Dame practice.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Angeli.
It's Steve Angeli. Is that how you?
Angeli, yeah.
Yeah, there's 3 guys vying for that spot. Steve Angeli, C.J. Carr, and Kenny McKinchey.
Yeah. I'm going with that. Angeli.
He played well in the college football playoff semifinal against Penn State.
Yeah, he sure did.
Was the backup to Riley. You've got C.J. Carr, who's a very prized prospect. Apparently, he's got an incredible arm, looking to break through in the quarterback competition. This is based on a couple different videos about Notre Dame that I found. Kenny McKinchey, apparently he's the most athletic of the 3 quarterbacks, and he's very accurate. And so those are a couple of the guys.
Is he a freshman?
I think he's a redshirt freshman.
Okay.
So there are still that quarterback situation is more than likely going to be Steve Angeli, who we've already seen.
Yeah. I'd be surprised if it is not.
Yeah. Let's see. Some other ones to talk about. Auburn, Jackson Arnold.
Yeah, Jackson Arnold is going to have a rebirth at Auburn. That's the narrative. And maybe he will. But based on what I saw at Oklahoma, he's got a long way to go.
He does have a very long way to go.
Did they have good receivers at Oklahoma? Did they have good offense? So maybe, and they got good receivers at Auburn. Unfortunately, because at least one of them was
one of them we know him.
So he's probably going to have better talent around him, but I think he still has to prove that he hasn't proved anything. Again, based on performance, see my eyes, I would take Marcel Reed over Jackson.
I would as well. Mississippi State, Blake Shapen's going to be the guy more than likely.
Yeah, well, he was the guy last year.
And he got hurt.
And then he got hurt. So,
but Michael Van Buren was really good.
Yeah, Shapen struck me as a guy that's an adequate passer and a nice runner, but I only saw him play a couple of times.
You've got Florida. I think DJ Lagway.
I'm sold.
Yep.
He's my type of quarterback. He can run, make plays off schedule.
Arkansas, we know their situation, right?
Taylor Green.
Yep, Taylor Green. LSU. Isn't that where Michael Van Buren ended up?
Yeah.
But he's not expected to be the guy.
No. They're going to be going Nussmeier, which Nussmeier has proved he can be an effective passer. My question about Garrett Nussmeier, and I think everybody understands this, is like a lot of quarterbacks, like most quarterbacks, Garrett Nussmeier suddenly becomes very average with pressure. And last year we saw it. Okay, that was last year with Will Campbell, Emory Jones as his tackle.
How's it going to be better?
And this other guy who I can't think of his name, but he's a guard that did real well at the Senior Bowl and is expected to get drafted. So 3 NFL offensive linemen lost from that line. 2 of them are projected as probable first rounders.
Sure.
Definitely Will Campbell. and you're going to get more protection?
Maybe, but we got to see it.
Yep, got to see it.
If we got to see it from A&M's defense, we got to see it from LSU's. By the way, from Michael Van Buren's perspective, why go to LSU?
Oh, I don't know. They probably funneled some money through Our Lady of the Lake and made it worth his while, or that, or he
feels like there's a path to play.
And I can, or he can say, you know what, I can back up for a year, and then be the quarterback at LSU.
Missouri. Okay, you got a couple.
Is that Drew Pine?
Drew Pine's one of the names.
He was awful last season.
I hope he's the quarterback when A&M plays them. Actually, I shouldn't say that out loud because the last time I said something like that, a certain Auburn quarterback had a great game.
Yeah.
Like a phenomenal game.
Right. Which, to me, goes back to what Elko said about if they couldn't play zone all year, then, those other coaches are good coaches,
yes,
too.
They are.
And I would think by November, other coaches have started figuring that out.
The three quarterbacks in the mix are Drew Pine, Sam Horn, and Bo Pribula. Good old Bo.
Well, I might say Sam Horn might be my leading candidate there because I've seen Drew Pine.
Yeah, you've seen Drew Pine.
Now, maybe Drew Pine got a lot better in the offseason. But you know what they don't have?
What's that?
They don't have Theo Weiss. They don't have Luther Burden.
They don't.
They don't have that running back, Nate Noel.
So, South Carolina, we are very familiar with Lenore Sellers.
Yeah, Lenore Sellers is a good player.
I don't think was that he played well down the stretch. But I think just tackle the guy, please.
Well, yeah.
Please.
You would hope so.
You would think.
That's obviously harder to do, but still.
Texas, Arch Manning.
Arch.
Yep. Some other SEC quarterback battles, if you don't mind, OB.
Okay.
Because I think you like this combo.
Yeah, of course.
I see your face.
I love talking football.
Alabama, Ty Simpson, Austin Mack, or Keelan Russell?
That's going to be Ty Simpson, I'm betting.
Yeah?
Keelan Russell may be a year away.
Yeah. I feel like Ty's waited his time. I think he's waited his time. It's his time.
Let's just see if he can stay there.
Georgia, Gunnar Stockton.
Yeah, that's your guy.
Ryan Puglisi, not related to Johnny, and Ryan Montgomery.
Yeah,
Gunnar Stockton, right?
I believe they're going with Stockton.
Yep. Tennessee, we know that's going to be Nico. Let's see what other notes I have for you. Ole Miss. Jackson Dart's gone.
Yeah, didn't they bring in a kid from LSU or Walker Little?
Yeah, and Austin Simmons.
Austin Simmons, yeah.
Kentucky.
That's going to be Zach Calzada.
Zach Calzada. Vandy. Diego Pavia. So I have some other quarterback battles in college football, if you don't mind. I see the smile on your face.
OU's bringing the guy from Washington State.
You've got Michigan, Bryce Underwood, who almost went to LSU.
Yeah. You don't pay him what they're paying him not to play him right away.
Mike Keene and Jaden Davis.
Yeah.
It's going to be Bryce Underwood.
Yeah. I mean, if you're paying $3 million a year, you're going to expect him to play.
Ohio State, remember, it'll be first-year starters for both Texas and Ohio State when they lead off the season. Julian Saying, Lincoln Kineholtz, and Tavian St. Clair.
I would not even be able to venture a guess which one of those guys will be.
You'll know some of these names for Oregon, or you'll know one of them.
Yeah, Austin Novosad.
Yeah, Austin Novosad, Dante Moore, and Luke Moga.
Okay.
Do you care about Colorado? No, not really.
I mean, not really, but
Julian Lewis, Caden Salter.
Okay.
North Carolina and Bill Belichick's team.
Is Max going to be able to play?
Max Johnson's still listed as a contender for the job.
How old is Max? Is Max about 33?
39.
Yeah.
He's about to get ARP. Bryce Baker and Ryan Brown. USC. I'm just going to give it to you because A&M played them, and there's a couple names.
The guy they played against?
Jaden Mavia.
Is that who they played against?
Yeah.
I've already forgotten.
And remember this name? Hassan Longstreet.
Yeah.
Sam Heward. I'm assuming he's related to Brock. But
I would assume so.
With that kind of name. So there you go. That's
the kid that played against A&M last December.
Jaden Mavia.
I thought was pretty good.
He was pretty good.
And he did real well at UNLV before he went to USC. But let's see if that Longstreet kid is ready, and let's see if he's everything that he's supposed to be, and we can, have weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Obi, where are we currently? In this section.
This particular section?
I've already kind of established where we are Holistically.
The holistic planning cool zone.
I used that word on accident.
You did.
Yeah, look at that.
The holistic planning cool zone.
And what do they just cool you off?
Oh, no. They make your life cool because having money is cool because you can do cool things. And so they're going to help you with your investments.
Thank you.
They're going to help you with your taxes so you can keep more of that money. And then as you get older like me, they're going to help you prepare to have money later in life. So they're going to help you with your estate planning, which part of that estate planning, if you are so inclined, could be investing in pro sports.
Yeah, I'm going to invest in a pro sports team one day when I make big bucks.
Real Madrid.
When I make I could already do it right now, to be honest with you, because everybody can.
Well, you're already emotionally invested.
I'm
but you want to
very
get
emotionally.
financially invested.
You know what? I'm going to tell you this. There's two things that get me up and down when it comes to sports.
All right.
Everything Aggie. Hey, Nick. Everything Aggie.
Yeah.
And Real Madrid.
Real Madrid.
And thank goodness I have Real Madrid because Aggie sports has been really hard on me recently, my whole life.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, things are tough.
Things are tough. If you want to be a part of the conversation, all you have to do is call us up. You can text us up. I don't care. We'll take the call, 979-693-1150. We'll pick it up on the Puppies Catering hotline. You can text that number as well, 979-693-1150. We go around the room, left to right through the glass. We find Nick Savage. Nick, good morning.
Howdy, good morning, y'all. Happy Major League Baseball opening day, by the way. You
That's
got
today?
A.J. Minter with the Mets, Michael Wacha with the Royals, Bryce Miller with the Mariners. So 3 Aggies we're keeping an eye on. So hope they do well. And I got all the quarterback stats. You pick some and we can go through it. But
Well, OB is not high on Nico, and I also do know that stats don't tell the whole story.
I don't think he's incompetent,
But you
but I just think he's over. I think he's way overhyped.
I can agree with that, but I still think he's in the top 5 or 6 quarterbacks in the SEC.
All right.
yeah, last year, 63.8% completion percentage. He threw for 2,600 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions.
So 19 touchdowns in 13 games, or 13 games. Yeah.
And 5 picks. Yeah.
Okay.
Where did he rank?
I would also break down. We don't have the time, but I break down to see where those big passing days came.
Yeah, that's a good point. Where did he rank QBR wise in the? Does it have that, Nick, in the stats you're looking at?
His season QBR was 70.5. I don't have that ranking in front of me, but
no problem.
I'm looking at his season highs. OB. He threw for the most yards. What is it against? Looks like Vanderbilt at the end of the year.
Okay. That's a rivalry. Throw out the record books, OB.
Yeah. Look, I'm not saying he's incompetent.
Yeah.
But he's way overhyped. He's almost the Tennessee's version of DJ Uiagalelei.
DJU. He was in college for 13 years like Max Johnson.
Played everywhere and played well nowhere. I mean, he was okay. He was okay.
Right.
But was never as good as he was hyped up to be.
Was it Washington State
He
went
played
to?
at Clemson. He played at Oregon State.
Oregon State.
Ended up at Florida State.
Yep. All right, we'll continue the dialogue by going to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. They call her 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Kaylee Dreyer is hanging out there with a smile this morning. Hello, Kaylee.
Hi, how are y'all?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good.
Good.
We have a football message from Madden in Houston.
What up, Madden?
And he says, looking forward to having Elko calling the defense again. He's a top 5 to 10 defensive coach in my opinion, and for him to not be calling plays was kind of mind-boggling to me last year.
2 things on that, OP. First off, I love anything Mike wants to do with the defense, I'm all in on.
Yeah.
I don't know if calling the defense was necessarily the issue. It was an issue maybe, but I don't know if that would be my top priority in issues. My top priority in issues is tackling.
Well, that's true. I think it's not just calling the defense and the plays on defense. I think it's just having more of his influence on that defense, and maybe that results in better tackling, more consistent filling of holes, gaps, better coverage. One of the I have to ask,
and I'll try to answer.
How does Shamar Stewart be a likely top half of the NFL draft and get 1.5 sacks and 7 pressures? how is it Nick Scorton had 5 sacks and that was it? I know Shamar Turner was hurt, but is that all because they're overhyped? Is it all because they were used? You know, maybe the way
Shamar
you use
Stewart,
them-
we're talking about that's 3 years of waiting to see some stats. He showed flashes, no doubt, but I wouldn't say sacks were his forte at his
right?
time at A&M.
But why not?
He had some really nice highlight plays. You're like, oh my gosh, he's about to break loose.
Were they? I just think you have to ask yourself, and maybe there's a great answer, but you have to ask why you'd have guys like with that kind of size and speed and athleticism, and you couldn't get to the quarterback consistently. Had that have something to do with maybe the way you were scheming and things?
Yeah.
I know somebody who's supposed to know a lot more than me, some kind of wannabe coach, broke down some defensive line film against Auburn.
Yeah.
And they say, what are they doing here? Why are they doing stuff like this? Is that something that was all year long? I don't know.
All right. We'll come back to you later, Kaylee. Thank you very much. It is Thursday, OB.
Yeah.
Thursday, for a lot of people who like to eat food,
Yeah.
it's the beginning of the week.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, because 1775 is open from Thursday to Saturday. You know, if you want to feel better, if you want to eat better, you know, you have a big smile on your face eating there. So if you want to look better, then you better get to 1775. You know, I'm not going to get into the details, but you know, I'm not feeling that great today. But if I wanted to feel better and I had the opportunity, I think 1775 would just lift me up.
It's comfort food.
It is.
And it's delicious food.
And I love to be comfortable, and it is delicious. And quite frankly, I love to eat delicious food.
We the
like
people.
those ribs,
Yeah.
that sausage.
We the people need the food
You need it.
from 1775 in order to make a more
1775.
perfect food
Union.
union.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that.
No, it sounds like you were just going to give you
the preamble of food.
the preamble of food. Maybe just want to amble over there.
Yeah. 1775, they're open Thursday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until they're sold out. Online ordering turns off at 10 a.m. You can call them up, 979-492-6241, or check out the website, 1775txbbq.com. Let's talk a little Snaps clothing. David Nuño here, and I love wearing Snaps clothing everywhere. I've got the flannel on right now. You've seen me in the Tailgater collection with the A&M gear. It is fantastic. If you see me around town with my sons, Christian and Cruz, they've got a bunch of Snaps gear. When they have big games for Consol, they wear nice clothes, so they wear their Snap stuff. And I'm telling you, with baseball season here, let's all kind of go looking stylish and fit to the games there at Olson wearing the Snaps clothing. As a reminder, they are the only official licensed Texas A&M Pearl Snaps maker out there. Their Tailgater collection is built for game day with breathable, moisture-wicking fabrics to keep you comfortable while you rep your Aggies in style. Now, whether you're watching the game from home or maybe you're in attendance, you're tailgating, whatever it may be, you got to make sure you head to snapsclothing.com to see everything they have to offer. It is fashionable, it is awesome, and you're going to love it. Buchanan, looks like you have a thought.
Well, I mean, I don't want to belabor the point, but I did look it up about Nico. And of his 19 touchdown passes last year, 11 of those 19 touchdown passes came in 3 games, 3 against Chattanooga, 4 against Vanderbilt, and 4 against UTEP.
So nobody that was impressive.
And then he had a nice game throwing the ball against Tennessee. Against Kentucky. And, well, Kentucky, struggle. I'm not saying he's incompetent. I just don't.
But you know what, though, bro?
I haven't seen him play at the level that he supposedly has been hyped to be at.
I just broed you. I apologize. But, bro, I would love to see A&M be in a discussion where Nico or Marcel or whoever's the quarterback, and we're debating if he's a top 5 or 6 quarterback because they're a 10-win team.
Well, I think I don't know if it'll be for that reason, but I do think that again, I'm personally high on Marcel because he is the type of quarterback I like.
Yeah, I like the young man too, and he looks stronger. He looks bigger.
Yeah, but I just like a quarterback that can run, that can make plays off schedule. Now, do you got to get better as a passer and identifying the open receiver? Yeah, you do, but he hasn't started the season as a starter yet.
Yeah. By the way, this is TexAgs Live.
It is TexAgs.
We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It's the Go Hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creation. I do want to go back to that Coach Elko sound because we kind of paraphrased it, and then we're going to kind of dissect it a little bit. Coach Elko yesterday, I believe we have the soundbite ready, breaking down what his role and what the defense could look like with some of the changes. Olin's question started it off.
Making sure that we clean up expectations, clean up the way we're teaching, clean up the way that they're learning and understanding and processing. Make sure you kind of identify, okay, what do we need to do to get this better? And it's been good. We spent a lot of time in walkthroughs through February, kind of making sure we understood spatially kind of what we were trying to get accomplished, where we were trying to go with it. We continue to do walkthroughs through spring ball. That's kind of just our regular rhythm. And I think, listen, and I said this at the last press conference, there's not a single person in our building that's excited with the way the defense played down the stretch, right? That's not just me. I'm not the only person. And so I think our players have a lot of pride in making sure it gets back to where it was. I think our coaches have a lot of pride in making sure it get back to where it was. And, through 8 games, we were in a really good place, and we just didn't finish the way we wanted to defensively. And so it's an emphasis, it's a focus, and I think we're meeting it head on.
I agree that they were in a much better place after 8 games. I do think some of the issues that we saw at the end of the year were there throughout the season, just maybe not as...
Well, he admitted it.
Yeah.
What he said, we got lucky against Missouri. We got lucky against, I think he said LSU, I don't know, because they, didn't exploit some of their coverage deficiencies, and when they did, sometimes there were penalties. Maybe
the Missouri game, which was a blowout, is the one I think about because there were a couple plays early on that could have changed the way that game felt completely.
Oh, absolutely. There was
on that first drive
pass to Luther Burton that got called back. Was there a big drop in that?
On that same drive, I believe. Yeah, there was.
You were somewhat fortunate then. So and he talked about it last year. Their issues were kind of masked by the fact that they won games, but eventually it was all exploited by the teams toward the end that probably realized again through scouting that, hey, these guys never seem to be playing zone, and let's work. But here's what I like about what he just said is that some guys might have said, well, we're only in 3 weeks or 3 practices. How much do you think we can get done?
Right.
No, he says, we've been walking through it every week, understanding that there was a problem, and they weren't waiting on spring football to try to address the problem.
Yep. All right, let's hit a break here. When we come back, I do want to read a couple text messages. I got a couple other football notes to get into here on a wonderful Thursday on TexAgs Live. Right now, we're talking about the Brazos Running Company located at Century Square. Locally owned, Aggie-owned and operated specialty running store with the best selection of shoes. When you're looking for the best kicks, you got to go buy Brazos Running Company. And they got Brooks, they got On, they got Hoka, they got all the brands you want to have. And they're also going to help you find the right shoe for you because they're going to, if you want, you can go and just pick the shoe you want. That'll make it easy. Or you can have them help you because what they'll do is they'll analyze the way you run, your gait, they'll look at it, and they'll make sure that you get the shoe that works for you. Some of us are heel strikers, some of us are toe strikers, midfoot strikers. They're going to find the right shoe for you and balance it all out and make sure that you can run or do whatever fitness you want to do for a long, long time. They have Yori there. They have Duck Camp there. They got a Turtle Box speakers there. They got Stanley Cups there. It is the Brazos Running Company located at Century Square below the Star Cinema Grill in College Station. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio, Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations, David Nuño, Olin Buchanan. We go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Kaylee Dreyer's there. People are weighing in on some of the topics we're discussing this morning. Kaylee?
Yeah, so we have a text from Michael Scott, and he says, I look at our roster and feel good about really almost every position, except I'm unsure of what to think about the run-stopping capability. I know DJ Hicks has come along pretty well, but I just want your guys' thoughts on that. Every other aspect of the team looks promising. Of course, we will see.
I'm also pretty encouraged by Albert Regis. I think he had a really nice year last year.
Albert, I thought, was their most consistent defensive lineman.
So you can go through position groups and you can be encouraged in March, right? Like a wide receiver, I think it's an upgrade. I wish Noah would have stayed. He didn't. I still think they're better. Quarterback, I don't know if it's an upgrade of what I thought the quarterback room was going to be a year ago today, because I thought Connor was going to be that guy. He was not. But it is, I think Marcel gives me the I don't know if the same kind of optimism is the right way to phrase it, but he gives me a lot of optimism because of what I saw in his sample size. Like, this guy can play at the SEC level, and he put on a little bit of strength, a little bit of muscle. I want to see how, as long as he keeps that speed with a little bit of power, I'm excited what he can do. So I think quarterback, I feel good about. I feel really good about the offensive line. Mm-hmm. I feel really good about the running back room. Mm-hmm. Defensive line, I don't feel as good as I felt last year heading into the season because of the names that we knew on the defensive line. But those names did not produce the kind of stat totals that I was expecting. So I am not cautiously optimistic, but I'm intrigued.
Okay.
Linebacker. I think I feel exactly the same about linebacker as I did last year. I think it's going to be good. I think I probably had Torian York having a bigger year than he did.
I thought their linebacker play was average, at best.
And I need the secondary to be better. I have reasons to believe the secondary will be better.
I thought the cornerback play was pretty good. I thought the safety position last year was, with the exception of some early interceptions from, what's number 3's name? Marcus?
Radcliffe.
With the exception of some interceptions early, I thought the safety play was disappointing. I go back to the defensive line, and why are we saying DJ Hicks has made, I forget the way the guy wrote it,
made strides? What did he put, Kaylee, in the
about DJ Hicks? What did he say?
He said,
He
said, I know DJ Hicks has come along pretty well, but I just want your guys' thoughts on that. Every other aspect of the team looks promising.
I mean, has he?
He's shown moments.
Okay. But has he shown that he can be that consistent player at a high level? I'm not saying he cannot. In fact, I'm so glad he's on our team. But has he shown that he can be this player? I've always thought he was going to be like the next Justin Matabike, and then I keep thinking, okay, well, when is it? When are you going to be that?
So Dave in Edmond says, I was super excited about quarterback going into last season, and with Wiggy absolutely let us down. Why is Reed going to be any different? Sell me, Nuño. A couple things on that. I think Connor was not 100% healthy.
That was a big deal.
I think mentally he took a hit when he didn't have the success that I think we expected and he expected. And when you've been a 5-star and been told that you're going to be great and you show flashes of greatness and you don't reach that, I think it can tear you down. I think it was his third offensive coordinator. And that, third, is that right? Am I saying that right? Yeah, Bobby Petrino, Colin Klein, and obviously what Jimbo was doing before. So, different offensive system, 3 years. I don't think he was mentally right. I don't think he was physically right. And I don't know if he fit with what Colin Klein was trying to do. I don't know.
Here's what I do know. I know that that Marcel Reed ran the zone read better than any A&M quarterback I've seen since Trevor Knight. Mm-hmm. Watch the last touchdown against LSU, if you don't believe that.
Yeah.
All right. I watched him juke the shoes off that poor safety from Florida on a run that nailed it down. I watched him on a 3rd and long run 31 yards, scramble 31 yards against Florida. I saw him scramble against Florida and throw a deep pass for a touchdown. So what I'm saying is I got in my opinion, for what I like in a quarterback, I got the raw material there. All right. And if we expected a guy who had never been a starter, who was just a redshirt freshman, barely played under a different coach the year before, played only because he had to, and actually did pretty well under the circumstances in that bowl game against Oklahoma State. And if I had him and expect him to come in and run the offense that was prepared for Connor Wigman and be great, then I think that's unfair. All right, you got a whole year with this kid that has what I think are the raw materials, and you've got a chance to build an offense with him and him get more of the starters reps and all those things. That's why I'm very high on him, and that's why I think that when you add the offensive line experience and the talent at running back and an increased speed at receiver, that's why I think A&M is going to be a team that's going to average between 30 and 35 points a game. And I just don't know if you're going to be able to stop anybody from scoring 30 to 35 points a game.
Let's get one more text before we hit a break. There's one in there from a 214. Scott in Plano had some love for OB. Let's get that one, Miss Dreyer at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center.
That was the one about DJ Hicks that
yes. Did you tell OB the part that he loved OB about?
No, he said, shout out OB from a Kilgore boy.
Oh, East Texas guys. Yeah, Kilgore. That was just about 10 miles, maybe 15 miles up or down, actually, down highway. What highway is it? Highway 40, I-20, highway 42? White Oak to Kilgore.
So typically right here we have Stephen McGee on with us.
He's not coming on?
He's not coming today.
Oh, man.
They had a baby.
Did they?
Yeah, so congratulations to Mr. McGee and the family, Mrs. McGee. So congratulations. So, but we'll still do buy-sell lease because I got an interesting buy-sell lease. This is one that I think has come up on the show before, but we'll have different.
I remember when McGee used to talk about not wanting to be a father. Now he's got two.
He is happy. He loves being a daddy.
Once you get that baby, it all changes.
All right, let's talk about the Association of Former Students. If you're looking for a reason to come back to Aggieland or are already in Aggieland and looking for a great opportunity, the Association of Former Students is seeking to hire professionals to join their team. There are positions open in fundraising, former student programs, and much, much more. They are the premier alumni association in the country, and they serve the best. Texas A&M in support of that Aggie network, and they play a part in every Aggie story from howdy to here. Don't miss opportunities to help out the association with Howdy Socials, Aggie Rain Day, class reunions, Aggie Muster, and everything in between. Join a team that exemplifies those Aggie core values of excellence, integrity, leadership, loyalty, and selfless service, all in support of that worldwide Aggie network. So if you're interested in joining the team or sharing with someone that would be a great fit, please visit tx.ag/association jobs to apply and get more information on each position. It is the Association of Former Students.
What's up, TexAgs? This commercial break is brought to you by my good friends over at Aggieland Chevrolet, the official automotive sponsor of TexAgs.com and me, Billy Lucci. Greg Gunn is the proud owner of Aggieland Chevrolet and invites you to visit the dealership to experience true Aggie hospitality. From their friendly staff to the experienced service team, Aggieland Chevrolet is TexAgs approved. Check out the dealership off of Highway 6 in Bryan or go to AggielandChevrolet.com and tell them Billy Lucci sent you by.
All right, TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. We're going to do a little buy, sell, lease, but I got to give it a little context beforehand. You guys know I'm not a big LeBron guy, right?
Right.
He was on with Pat McAfee yesterday.
I heard about that.
I watched maybe 2 or 3 snippets. I actually thought he sounded pretty good. I was like, oh, that's a likable version of LeBron. He did call out a couple of members of the media. I didn't hear what he said about Stephen A. Smith, but I heard what Stephen A. Smith said about LeBron. Did you see this?
No, I didn't. But
So
I
they
know
went back.
I know they got a
Little
verbal feud
right?
going.
So they went back when LeBron kind of confronted him for Stephen, I think, doing his job, talking about his son, right? Bronny. And I guess after the interview, they asked Stephen A. about it. And this is what his quote was. If that man would have put his hands on me, I would have immediately swung on him. Immediately.
Wait, Stephen A?
Stephen A. Smith.
Like 5'2", 140 pounds Stephen A.
You guys know that I go to Brazos Valley MMA and I try to be good. I'm not good. Okay, I'm not. I'm being very honest with you.
You're a bad boy.
No, I've seen Stephen A. Smith hit the bag. He is not a boxer.
No.
Okay. First off, read the room. Like, you're not going to get into a. Come on, Stephen A.
But you know what? Some guys will. I'll give him this. Some guys will take the impending butt whooping to for pride's sake. I told you the story when I was at the Jimmy Buffett concert.
Yep.
The guys were smoking weed. Of course they are. And my wife says, I'm not putting up with this.
Yeah.
And she starts lecturing them. And I'm like, and one of them's about the size of Hunter Goodwin, not as in good a shape. And he stands up, and I know he's going to call her the word that every woman hates, that every guy has to defend her. And I'm thinking, all right,
here we go.
He's going to call her the word. I'm going to have to get up and punch him. And then I'm going to have to accept a complete and total beat down because my wife thinks you shouldn't smoke weed at a Jimmy Buffett concert. Anyway, the guy actually left without smoking weed at the concert. So, tells you about my wife. But anyway, the point I'm making is sometimes, and maybe Stephen A. would punch him back because sometimes you just take it for pride.
I can't see it in that environment. That did bring up, and we're going to do this buy, sell, lease of celebrity fights here in a second.
Okay.
That did bring up last night.
Fights.
I didn't almost get into a fight. I did not.
Speaking of celebrity fights,
Right.
David was fighting.
I'm still
somebody
wanting to
last
fight the Aggie Facts Texas guy. I would love that. I
Yeah.
would love to demolish him in front of the world. But he wouldn't fight me because he needs to get paid, apparently, even though he said he would. But whatever. I digress. I don't even know his name. Anyway, I would like to say that yesterday I'm at the Theo Von concert, and I'm just realizing your generation, they don't know how to enjoy an event.
Oh.
I had 2 ladies next to me, your age, on their phones the entire time, snapping, having full conversations as the show's going on.
At Callie Garner.
Callie Garner-esque, right? Full conversation, like, yeah, what do you think about Jimmy? And oh my God, I know, can you believe that? Loud. Behind me, I got homeboy vaping, smoke hitting my ear, passing it, and I'm like, I'm about to break this guy's arm. 2 rows behind me, a guy is having a full conversation on the cell phone. I am not exaggerating. That was what I was around yesterday.
Yeah.
Is that normal for your generation to be on their phones, chit-chatting, not watching a show? Sorry, why am I yelling at you? I bring it back.
Probably. Seems like something.
Enjoy the moment, humans.
Well, I would be really pissed if some guy's talking on the phone while I'm trying to hear something.
And I did one of these like, and then as we're leaving, another group of guys, he's on his phone and he's a close walker. And he's like almost touching me. And there's like twice I turned around like, what's up, bro? And he wasn't trying to be mean. He was just
oblivious.
In his own world. I was hoping he would be mean because I'm getting worked up right now. Celebrity fights.
David Nuño and the guy with the phone. I'm taking Nuño.
No, just the Longhorn guy who likes to talk a lot of smack and then he disappears. That guy.
Nuño versus the world.
No, I'd lose.
Nuño.
I mean, a lot of fights I'd lose. For the record, I suck. But I like to act tough. Stephen A. Smith versus LeBron James. Celebrity fight. I'm going to give you 3
An
options.
actual fight?
A boxing match. Celebrity boxing.
Okay, who's going to win?
Yeah, no, just which one do you want to see? Buy, sell, lease.
Okay.
See, okay, we got a minute. Will Smith, Chris Rock.
Yeah.
The Rock versus Vin Diesel.
Okay.
Those are your options.
Well,
Because The Rock and the Vin Diesel don't like each other.
Okay, then that would be the first.
That's from Fast and Furious. I don't know the drama behind it.
Yeah.
I've watched 12 seconds of Fast and Furious. I fell asleep.
Well, that's
so
the one
fast.
I'd buy.
Okay, you buy that one because at least they look like they can fight.
Yeah.
Right.
Lease, I would think I would go for
Will Smith and Chris Rock.
Will Smith
I
and
want to
Chris
see
Rock.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Yeah. And then, I'm selling Stephen A.
How about a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, Saban versus Jimbo? I would have paid for that one.
Oh, I would have paid for that. Heck
I would have loved that one.
Yeah. Then we turn out, but I got to admit.
Lane Kiffin, Jimbo?
No, Lane would have trounced Jimbo.
Okay.
I saw Jimbo after he's talking about.
Lane versus Nuño?
I'm taking Nuño
know.
against the world.
Lane looks pretty tall. I think.
He is tall.
Yeah.
The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Again, I got a love-hate thing with Lane. I kind of like him. Kind of don't like when he talks. There's no kind of. Don't like when he talks about us.
Prince Herman pointed out to me in a pregame warm-up one time. We're watching that on the field, and Jimbo just been mad at Lane. And then Jimbo walks up to him and pats him on the back like they're old buddies.
That's not how I roll.
If you're going to hate all the time.
Unless they come with an olive branch.
Unless there's an olive
branch. And then
branch.
love them, hug them.
Yes.
Take them to 1775.
Or hit them with the olive branch.
All right. Thank you, OB. When we come back, Michael Earley on TexAgs Live. Richard Zane will join me for that. That and more is TexAgs. We're back on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Got Richard Zane with me. We're talking a little baseball. It's our weekly conversation with Michael Earley that's brought to you by Duck Camp. At Duck Camp, we know the best moments happen out there on the boat, casting a line, or hauling the catch of the day. Be sure to check out Duck Camp's new spring hats, like the fan favorite crawfish hat and the redfish hat at duckcamp.com. With that, we go to the Buppies Catering Hotline. That's where we find Michael Earley. Coach, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Well, thank you. So I'll get right into some news. Bronny this morning tweeted out that it looks like Caden Sorrell is going to be active this weekend. How much he'll play is yet to be determined. Can you shed a little light on Caden's situation?
Yeah, he took live at bats yesterday. He's been running. He got to run this morning, which will be a big, he should be good. Should be good to go. What that role is, we'll have to decide. We got to kind of ease him back into it. So just depends on how he feels and what we feel like we can do. That we don't want to get him back and then get him hurt. So you'll see him as of this second. You'll see him in some capacity at some point this weekend, I would think.
Really good news. And I guess since we're jumping right into it, Coach, I'll stick with the injury updates. We didn't see Gavin Cash on Tuesday night against Houston Christian. His back was tensed up. What's the latest on him? And then also Josh Stewart. What's an update with him?
Yeah, Gavin didn't practice yesterday. Got on some anti-inflammatories. He'll go through a light cage routine today, and I anticipate him to be available for Friday. And Stewart is still the same. He won't pitch this weekend, and we're just not making the progress that we need to get him back out there. So he's grinding, he's doing what he's supposed to do, but it's just not really working out for him currently.
Now that we've got the injury updates out of the way, Coach, obviously a big day around baseball with the big league season beginning today. So for you, as a baseball guy, understanding you're extremely busy running your own program, what's the intrigue for you? Is it watching your childhood club? Is it watching your former players? And how much big league ball do you actually get to take in now?
Not that much. I'll have it on at home maybe for some background noise, but no, I got a couple former players. That one guy made the team for the Cubs, so super excited for him. But other than that, no, man, I do not enjoy it as much as I used to. That's for sure.
Talking to Michael Earley here on TexAgs Live. Coach, going back to the Houston Christian win, the team showed some positive signs offensively. How do you kind of carry that success to the SEC series this weekend against Kentucky?
It's just about being aware of the situation you're in and competing. And I thought they had some good moments as far as some 2-strike counts. But we still at times put ourselves in situations where we shouldn't have gotten those counts. But it was good. I mean, it's always good to get a win for sure. Like, never going to complain about a win, but we're always continuing to try to get better, like no matter what. And I still think we should be better than what we have been, and even better than what we were on against them. So I mean, we had a really good practice yesterday, and we're going to have a really good one today, and we're just going to continue to push and just hammer the point of what is expected must be defined. So I'm defining everything at every angle for them, and what success is when you're a hitter on this team. So, and to their credit, they're super bought in. So, yeah, it was good, but I mean, we want to be better than that, and we want to be better. I mean, average is not good enough, so we got to continue to climb and grow. And in my mind, they're all gonna get going at one time at the best part in the season, and it's going to be awesome. That's what we're striving for.
One of those guys who found offensive success was Ben Royo, hit his first home run as an Aggie in the late innings against the Huskies. What has he been doing offensively that has provided a little extra sock? You spoke on Tuesday that he's in there for defense, but how important is it for him to give a little bit extra at the plate as well?
Yeah, and what I've told Ben and what I'll tell you, like, obviously whenever we got to do great, but I need him to continue to play great defense and get a bunt down when I need him to, and anything more we get out of him is awesome, which he has those capabilities. And I think by doing that and understanding what his role is, I think it's freed him up a little bit, or I would hope so. It looked like it did. I just need him to continue to play great defense, situational hit when it's time to situational hit, and compete in the box. And you know, he did that on Tuesday, and he's pretty twitchy, he's got some really raw skill. Like, he's not just like some guy we're throwing out there. You know, he can run, he can throw. He's definitely got power. It's about him being consistent with it, but I just needed him to continue to battle at the plate, play great defense, and when I needed to get a bunt down, move a guy, get a guy in, those are the things the bottom of the order has to continue to get better at.
You mentioned the importance of Royo playing great defense. Just how much more is that magnified, understanding the challenge that's coming in this weekend? A club like Kentucky that likes to stretch your infield defense, do some odd, different things to try and get you guys out of place.
Of course, yeah. You got to play clean. You got to play clean. And I mean, just speak on Ben again. Like, he turned 2 double plays at Vanderbilt against their 2 fastest guys that most people can't do, and just handling the baseball. You know, taking outs that they give to you. So if a team bunts a lot or does certain things where they give you outs, you take those outs. Like, you only get 27 in the game. You're trying to collect them any way possible. So, yeah, just being clean, being efficient, not trying to do too much. Take your outs when they give you your outs. Move on to the next guy.
Talking to Michael Earley here on TexAgs Live, keeping it with some young players. Bear Harrison, multi-hit game, a couple doubles. How do you feel that he's kind of getting into his groove?
Yeah, he looks great. He's got a real. I mean, I just like his presence in the box. Like, he goes up there with an intent to do damage, and then at the same time is battling some 2-strike counts and hit some balls the other way. So he's done a really, really nice job. He's catching really, really well, really throwing well back there. Like, so he's done great. He's done good. I mean, he's getting a lot of. We get to see the metrics, you know, after the game, and he's getting us some pitches, you know, in that buffer zone that you got to get, and providing, you know, a right-handed bat there in that middle-ish part of the order that we were kind of missing. So want him to continue to develop, and yeah, he's definitely providing something for us there that we need.
Sticking with Harrison, the numbers have been really impressive, but we've also seen him make 5 straight starts behind the plate, the most he's seen at any one stretch so far this year. So how are you and this staff going about managing the catcher position, and how much can we expect to see Jacob Galloway?
Yeah, I mean, Jacob's still in the mix, but I just think right now, like, Bear's playing well, and you know, Jacob beat him out at the beginning of the year, like, flat out. Like, that's just what it was. And Bear was still getting in there, but, you know, as Bear's kind of got more opportunities, he's shown he can do some things too. So, I mean, you know, right now, Bear will play on Friday, and we'll move on from there. But I think he's right now, he's earned it, and he deserves to be back there. And, you know, the thing I like about him is he can really catch, and that's number one, but providing, you know, something for us offensively and being right-handed and having that bat in the order is why we're going with him.
Talking to Michael Earley here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Going to the bullpen, Clayton Freshcore and Caden McCoy both had impressive outings against Houston Christian. Let's just talk a little bit about them finding their rhythm as well.
Yeah, Fresh was real good. I mean, he had that first inning I think I talked about after the game where he just really uncharacteristic for him, if you know him as a strike thrower just from practice and how he's been this year. But credit to him for bouncing back and getting back good, but also, you know, as the competition picks up, you're not going to be able to have those lapses, and he understands that. And Caden McCoy continues to prove why he should get the baseball. So, and he will. His role will continue to expand and be some sort of a hybrid and like kind of any part of the game sort of guy. But he's. I mean, I think you've seen it since the first game he threw, and he's gotten better. He's gotten better every outing. So it was. I just love watching him pitch. He competes. Just a low maintenance player, low heartbeat, highly competitive. I think he's not only going to be great for us the remainder of this year, but he's I think a future star in this program.
How could you see McCoy's role kind of, you know, altering and adjusting? We saw him throw on the weekend against Vanderbilt, obviously gets 3 innings against Houston Christian. What does he provide for this staff?
I think at number one, it's being a left-handed option, which out of the bullpen, starting perspective, we have our 3 guys, but out of the bullpen, right now it's really just been Caden Wilson. So he provides us that other look, other left-hander, strike thrower, not just a lefty strike thrower with stuff, really good split change. To right-handed hitters, he's really good because he can get to that glove side and just kind of bury it in that inside corner coming across to him and then throw the changeup off of it. So, and he literally just fills it up. He's left-handed and he fills it up, and it's good stuff and competes. So it's all you can ask for in a pitcher.
Talking to Michael Earley here on TexAgs Live. Coach, thinking about this series against Kentucky, I know that you don't necessarily analyze you probably analyze the struggles that they have to kind of maximize your team's potential against them. But when you have two teams that have started off a little bit slower than expected, how important is this series? Understanding that every series is important, but this is an opportunity, but they're looking for an opportunity as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fight. Like we need to win this weekend, and so do they. So, just two teams that it's going to be who's more desperate to win, us or them, and I'm going to take us. Obviously, I like where we're at, and I don't. You're right. I mean, I analyze them, but I don't worry. I don't try to get inside what they're thinking. I just try to continue to preach and do the things we do on a consistent level here, and we're ready to go. Just like we were ready last weekend, and it didn't go our way, and you won't see any lapse in how we go about our business and what we do. So we're just excited to get back out there, get to practice today, and come out and win a series. But it just starts on Friday and taking care of business then. But you'll see, man. There's no, like I said before, there's no flight on this team. It's all fight. So we'll be ready to go, and we'll be ready to go. We'll come out flying around, and at the end of the series, we'll see what happens. But I like our guys and how we prepare. I'm so confident in them still, and always will be, and we're just ready to get going.
Coach Mingione and the Wildcats obviously have that reputation for bunting and playing all sorts of small ball. So what sort of challenges do they present in all three phases, not just offensively, but pitching in on defense?
Yeah, I mean, from an offensive standpoint, you just got to, like I said, you got to take the outs when they give them. So when they want to bunt and give you outs, you take them. Pitchers have to be good with their leg times to the plate, and the catcher has to play catch. The difference with us, starting three lefties, when you steal second base, it's just a guessing game. And then so, the pitcher has an okay leg time. Catcher catches the ball, has to play catch. It's just about playing baseball. And when teams try to do things like that and get you out of rhythm, you just got to stay calm and do what you're supposed to do. But I mean, they're a really good team. I mean, they played some good teams. They're not just a team that'll bunt. Like they're hitting well. They're doing that. They steal bases. I mean, and then from a pitching standpoint, they've always done a really good job. I mean, they throw strikes. It's SEC, right? Like it's the SEC. Like they are a really good baseball team, and they're going to present challenges to us different than maybe what we've seen, but nothing that we won't be prepared for.
Coach Earley, we appreciate it, sir. Thank you so much. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, guys. Have a nice day.
You too. Michael Earley on the Buppy's Catering Hotline. Well, Richard, just a minute before we hit the break, I think he said something there that I think could go such a long way for the Aggies this season, this weekend, a Friday win.
It'd be huge, and you've got your guy going.
Yeah,
right? You've got
exactly
Ryan
my point.
Prager, and it's been 2 weeks or 3 weeks since we've seen your Friday night guy get a win, and that would be huge. Just not playing from behind. Justin Lampkin's been really good in that second game of the weekend, right? But not adding that extra pressure on him to be perfect to try and even up the series would be huge. Because, if Justin Lampkin does what Justin Lampkin does after Ryan Prager wins the opener, then you're looking at the potential of wrapping up a series victory in game 2.
Well,
so
I think this series, too, a couple things can happen. Let's say A&M were to sweep, okay? They get the sweep, which I know is a law. We haven't seen anything to make us think that. I just want to talk through scenarios. Okay, they won't get a necessarily big bump.
Sure, you're not going to jump back into the top 25 or anything like that.
But for those players, okay? And then the pressure, I think, goes on to Kentucky, right? A&M has been the poster child for ha-ha. And then I think, but if you lose it, then even way more pressure than you already have, I think, is thrown at you.
It's a massive weekend, right? And we'll talk plenty more about it, I'm sure, later in the show or maybe tomorrow during the baseball roundtable. But A&M's 0-6 in the conference, right? The margin for error is almost completely gone, if not completely exhausted. So you can't suffer any more home losses. You can't suffer home series losses, is what I mean. So if A&M were to come out and sweep this weekend series, then I think the most important thing you said was that exhale and allow them to get going. And because, quite honestly, they need to get going, right? What's next weekend?
Tennessee?
Yeah, you got a road trip to Knoxville to face a team that's really scary. So you can't go into Lindsey Nelson Stadium or whatever it's called and be pressing more than you already are.
Yeah, and look, I don't want to say we're talking in fantasy. We're talking in what ifs, right? But if they can have the kind of weekend, Prager, I don't worry about, right? Good outing, even a rough outing for him, they have a chance to win. That's the way I look at Ryan Prager, right? You get the offense to go with the pitching on Friday night. Let's say you erupt, get 9 runs, and you win a 9-2 game against Kentucky. Jace gets his home run record. Like all these things that are, I think, possible this weekend.
All these things that we're waiting on, right?
We've been waiting for a while.
We're waiting. Not only are we waiting for Jace to hit home run 57, we're just waiting to see some offensive life in a SEC game. And if you see both of those, like you said,
and to add to that, if you have a game, let's say it's not the offensive onslaught that I'm hypothesizing here, but let's say you have a game where you don't strike out in the double digits, right? And you just clean up your approach. To me, that all goes back to that sigh. Here's something to think about. We talked about it at the very start of the interview with Caden Sorrell coming back. The domino effect it can have for the rest of the lineup.
Sure. That'd be huge, right? And I'll say it because everyone else wants to say it. I don't expect Caden Sorrell to be the all-SEC player we were projecting at the beginning of the year in game 1, right?
Right.
But the talent's there. The tools are there. As he gets his feet wet, as he gets used to game speed, he is going to provide something that this offense has been lacking. Is the offense going to get back to the record-setting pace that we projected in the preseason? No, right? But are they going to be able to produce runs at a higher clip than 2.25 per game? Hope so. They need to.
Was it Brett Minnick last year that missed time early on?
Brett Minnick missed time 2 years ago.
2 years
right?
ago,
and then I think he broke his wrist or broke his hand on opening day in 2023.
And I feel like he did something great the day he came back. Not that trying to put that pressure on Caden Sorrell, but what I think it did for the rest of the lineup. You know, like again, if Caden's in there and he's not Caden that we remember from last year, or even Caden that we saw in the fall, right? But if he's just that kind of pressure, somebody you have to think about as you're pitching, I just think it'll help out the rest of the lineup.
We know that left field or the third outfield spot's been kind of a black hole, right? Sawyer Farr looked really good out there on Tuesday night, but he's not a career outfielder, an outfielder by trade like Caden is. He is also not a seasoned SEC bat like Sorrell became last year in his true freshman season. So that'll help lengthen your lineup. It'll help shore up your outfield defense. The other thing, the more important thing beyond Caden Sorrell that I think we're glossing over is they only struck out 7 times against Houston Christian on Tuesday night. Now, I understand it's a Southland pitching staff versus an SEC pitching staff, but there were signs of progress on Tuesday night. They practiced on Monday. The word Early used on Tuesday night postgame was they were hammering certain things at him, trying to get things into place. There were signs, right? It looks like they're progressing in the right direction. They just need a breakthrough moment. They need to keep progressing until they can have that moment, and then they can really go. And I think it's hopefully all coming together at the right time, coinciding with Sorrell's return to the lineup.
Is Kentucky the right series for right now for A&M?
I don't know if Kentucky's the right series for right now, if they're the right opponent for right now, but they have to be, right? A&M has to make this the right series to get right.
Richard, good stuff. We'll see you tomorrow on the Baseball Bunch. Thank you very much. All right, we'll hit a break here. We'll come back, read some text messages, maybe go around the SEC a little bit with some other news that is happening. But right now, we're taking a moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet. You can find them on Highway 21 in Caldwell and online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. When you're looking for a new vehicle, I know it can be stressful because every dealership's telling you they got this deal, that deal, and then you're like, oh, they got the dealer add-on things they're going to add to it. They're going to tell me it's going to be this. They're just going to listen to me and sell to me a certain strategy. You can throw that away and just know that Caldwell Country Chevrolet is a small-town feel with, I want to say small-town prices because the pricing there is fantastic, and you don't have to worry about the sales staff just trying to keep adding to you. The customer service at Caldwell Country Chevrolet is second to none. And I'm talking about the entire process, the entire time, before, middle, and after, right? We're talking about great trade-in value, great pricing, and great customer service when it comes to your customer service repairs. They will pick it up. They'll deliver it for you. They have complimentary pickup for that. They also have free oil changes for life of the purchase of your vehicle from Caldwell Country Chevrolet. They do it all. That small town feel that goes a long, long way. We're talking about a 15-minute drive, the very edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell, a short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. We are back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Nick Savage behind the glass was reading the internet, probably at a concert with his phone on really bright and just reading instead of enjoying the moment.
It was actually at a movie.
What movie was it?
The sound turned all the way up. I don't know. Last movie I think I went to go see was Twisters, so it's been a while.
Did you like Twisters?
It's all right.
I don't think I have been to the theater since, I'm trying to think, it was probably a superhero movie, and I haven't gone to a superhero movie in a while. I don't remember going to, I think COVID ruined the whole movie theater experience for me.
I wouldn't argue with you with that.
But there are certain movies that you need to watch at the theater, right?
Yeah.
Like
the new Avengers that's going to come out whenever. Are you even interested in that at all whatsoever?
Very much so.
Really? Because
Yeah.
I don't know anything or any of those people.
But you're not in the superhero
Why is
community.
Iron Man a villain now? I don't get it.
He's not Iron Man. He's a different character.
I get it, but
It's a
he's
mo-
Iron Man.
No, it's in a different universe. I don't know if it's a Tony Stark, Doctor Doom. I
Good
think we
luck
just lost
selling
our
that.
entire audience. I know that John is listening and like, I'm out. Superhero talk.
Well, I have a
I'm out."
topic to bring him back
Okay.
because I
He
think
already
this is
left.
a
fine.
yeah, well, it's okay. I think it's a pretty fun topic. I was perusing Twitter/X, and I came across a tweet that talks about the most frustrating things in sports, and broadly speaking, just like occurrences. Like I'm not talking about specific moments, but I'm sure we'll think of examples. For example, the first one on this list: a false start on a third or fourth down in short yardage.
Oh my goodness. I'm trying to think of the games that we saw that in. There were so many
Didn't
of
that
those.
happen a couple times against App State for us? I feel like
It happened against App State a few years ago. It happened last season multiple times. There would be like a dumb hold call or a dumb false start. I think a couple of times it was a wide receiver. Like, no, buddy, just relax.
You are right. It did happen with the wideouts a couple times.
Yeah.
Next one on that list, and I feel like A&M doesn't really have to worry about this too much. Giving up offensive rebounds. I feel like the Aggie basketball team frustrates opposing fan bases with that.
Yes, except I think against Michigan, there were several examples of Michigan getting the offensive rebound, and I'm used to A&M. I think at the end of the day, they only lost the offensive rebounding battle by 1 or 2, if I remember correctly. But regardless, there was
Typically A&M wins it by
a
multiple.
lot.
Yeah.
So yes, that is very frustrating because it's right there, but extra effort. But yeah, that can be frustrating for your viewing experience for sure. I'm going to throw one in there before you get to the rest of the
go
list.
for it.
Because I said this earlier, and I didn't like the way you and Richard Zane looked at me when I said it. You're like, whatever, that's not a good one. I don't like being able to predict the play call in a negative way. I'm not going to say which coach it was in the last couple of years, but there might have been a coach on the football field who I by the way, liked. I did. That Olin and I would be sitting in the press box, and we're like, they're going to run that play again, aren't they? They're going to run it, and it's not going to work right. Nope, it's not going to work. And they'd run that play, we'd predict it, and that's what happened. I like when I can predict the play that nobody else can predict. I don't like when we can all predict it.
I just thought of one that's not on this list, and it has to do with short yardage situations. Instead of running the ball up the middle or something, or going forward, swinging it out or tossing it sideways, not going downhill, moving laterally. I think that's silly, but maybe against
You're saying like on a third or fourth and one situation,
yeah, like 4th and inches, goal line. Why are we tossing it out? Like run it down the middle. But
I'm going to give you a reminder.
Texas game. Yeah, I know.
I
know where you're going.
Where am I going?
Texas game.
No, actually, the
okay.
Texas game frustrated me, but I understood the idea of running the ball.
Again, I don't hate the play call. It just
I'm going to tell you the play call that I hate. 2022. Is that 5 and 7? That's 20.
Yes.
Right? 2022. Evan Stewart. Last play of the game against Alabama in Tuscaloosa. I didn't like the play call. If you remember, it was
over in the front right pylon,
right? Yeah, correct. Billy and I were standing like literally right there. I think Seth McKinney was there with us. We're standing right where the play happened. I didn't like that play call for a couple of reasons. Are you familiar with a guy named Devon Achane?
I am.
He was on that team. Was he good at football?
I think so.
Okay.
I think he's in the league.
So in that situation, and you have a chance to win the game, the risk versus reward, I think the risk of getting the ball to your best player, or at least faking him out, Am I remembering correctly? Was he not even on the field for that play? Maybe I'm making that up. But regardless, the throw to Evan, the whole thing sucked. So that play. What else is on the list? Because I'm going to give you one that I think should be on the list.
Okay.
Baseball.
Yeah, go ahead.
Striking out looking.
That is on the list.
Oh.
That's on number. I mean, I don't think it's ranked, but it's number 5 on this list.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a baseball one that annoys me probably more than anything on this list is when a reliever comes into the game and they walk the first batter and they just blow it. It seems like it happens all the time, and at least as an Astros fan, it feels like it happened a lot last year at Josh Hader. And yeah, that is maddening to me.
Here's one for you. I don't know if it's on the list. I don't think it's on the list. I'm just going to throw it out there. And maybe I saw it this weekend, but I know I've seen it throughout history of sports. Taking a player out when they're hot. It can be in any sport.
Yeah, it's not on this list specifically, but yeah.
But you know what I'm saying?
I feel like that happens. That's more so basketball than any other sport.
But sometimes you have a pitcher that's dealing.
Correct.
And the
Zach
analytics
Greinke.
say you should change, right?
Game 7.
You're talking about
When
the
they lost to the
Astros in
Nationals.
2019?
Yep.
I was there. Thanks for reminding me, Nick. That was great. But when you got a pitcher that's dealing and you make the change because the analytics say this is a better left, right, whatever it may be, I understand that. But when a guy is dealing, I go with the dealer, right? Or if a dude has been hooping and he's like putting on a show, let's give him a little 3-minute break. No, not when he's putting on the show, right? Like, let the dude cook. I'm like the kids.
Yeah. What's the football equivalent to that? Taking out like a running back?
Okay. They can't stop the running back from getting 3 or 4 yards every time. Okay, let's throw a pass. Okay, let's do it. Let's not even do a play action pass. Let's just throw a weird pass and get an interception. No, they can't stop Le'Veon, Amari, whomever, Ruben. Just give it to them. Let that train go.
We could talk about this forever.
We're going to. We're not going to stop. AT?
Okay.
Who needs AT?
We're going the rest of the day.
He's probably listening. Like,
TexAgs
Nuño, I heard
overtime.
you. What are the chances he comes out swinging at me?
I feel like you're the one preemptive. I'm an AT defender. I defend AT. You ambush him a lot.
Name one ambush.
Pretty
One.
much like every time he comes on here now.
One ambush?
Yes.
He always comes at me. He's defensive. Nuño, you canceled me for Trev Alberts. How dare you? Yeah, the athletic director. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Well, AT helps us out a lot.
He is.
So
That's my guy.
He's my boy, yeah.
I've told our interns this. If I pick on you, I like you. Also, if I pick on you, I might not like you. Heritage Films time.
Nuñoism.
Yeah. This is actually a true story. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Chance McClain, but Michael Berry, he's a very famous talk show host. He's got a nationally syndicated conservative talk show in Houston. He and Chance are good buddies. I think Chance does a lot of imaging for Michael. He posted a picture of Chance and he said, I want you to say the meanest things you can about this picture. And people went on there and they said some mean things about Chance, but like in a fun-loving way. And I said, it looked like Megan Rapinoe. I don't think he liked that one, but he could tell Megan Rapinoe's story. He could tell anybody's story. He's a storyteller. He loves doing documentary films about people's families. He likes doing it about their ranches, their family business, anything family-related. Chance McClain and his team can do that for you. They are the best. He's the most creative guy I know. He's funny. He's intelligent. He's a good old boy. And he loves A&M. His daughter, Gunn, went to A&M, so he loves everything about us. And he doesn't advertise at a lot of places. With Michael Berry, who I mentioned earlier, and TexAgs. That's his advertising. That's how he goes about his business. The website is yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com. Call him up, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341. sodium intake conversation with Maria Griglione during the break. It was an interesting conversation. I didn't think she would want to bring that up, but we're here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's talk to my guy, Aaron Torres from Aaron Torres Online here on TexAgs Live. By the way, this is Around College Athletics, brought to you by Milliken Reserve. What's up, AT?
David Nuño, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm well. So Richard Zane walked into the studio a minute ago. He was like, hey, do you and AT have beef? I was like, no, we like to pick on each other. That's what we do. That's what buddies do.
Yeah. I will tell you this. I had no idea how much college baseball teams play until Richard Zane. I started following Richard Zane on Twitter.
Have you muted him yet?
What's that?
Have you muted him yet?
No, I haven't muted him.
Oh,
No, what? No. I did my Aggie baseball updates. But, I guess the other baseball beat writers I follow cover other sports because, there's like a couple guys that cover Tennessee, but I don't think they really get into it until after basketball is done. Richard Zane's at the ballpark every single night, man. I knew you guys played a lot, but what is it? Like, it's got to be 5 or 6 days a week. It's crazy.
Well, part of the reason is he's our main. So typically the TexAgs account, I think, tweets out most of the baseball games, but when they're happening at the same time as basketball, this is inside baseball. Just giving you a little bit of the TexAgs playbook.
TexAgs, yeah.
Hey, buddy. So Aggie basketball didn't have the run in March that we wanted, even expected. I say that, but I wasn't surprised by what happened against Michigan for multiple reasons. Michigan was hot, and A&M has the propensity to miss a lot of shots and not score and have these scoring droughts.
It was honestly what we talked about all year, David, is that, I think that there are, there were reasons to be excited because I do think that they were, and unfortunately we now have to use past tense, I do think they were a tough matchup for a lot of teams. But you laid it out. I mean, I remember talking to you probably, it had to be about 6 weeks ago. Even when they were playing well, I think you brought up the great point of there's just such little margin for error. And so, you're just kind of in, I'll be honest, even on Saturday, you got 3 or 4 games going on at once. And, I was helping my wife with something in the middle of that game. And, you kind of just, Texas A&M is in control. Texas A&M is in control. Boom. All of a sudden, Michigan's up by 6 and there's 4 minutes to go and you can't come back from it. So I give you credit because I think you kind of diagnosed this early of when you play this way, the margin for error is so thin. You're never going to really build up a huge lead. You can't really come back from big leads or from big deficits, and it really sets up a scenario where you kind of, I don't want to say have to play perfect, but, you have to really, the margins are just thin, I think is the best way to put it. And so you saw a game where a Michigan team had just as much size as you. I mean, the Aggies still got the offensive boards, but Michigan rebounded well with those 2 7-footers. And then, boom, all of a sudden you go on a little bit of a scoring drought and game's over, season's over. So I think it's certainly disappointing the way the season ended because obviously this team at certain points looks so good. You beat Auburn, you have success against so many other teams. But like I said, I really think I give you credit because you kind of diagnosed this early that the margins were just going to be so thin for this team. And we saw that play out on Saturday afternoon.
AT, let's talk about former Aggie legend Hassan Diarra, who... that guy's just a winner. I was made aware of this stat. He's got in his career 13 NCAA tournament wins. A&M as a program has 15.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, when you're part of back-to-back national champions, that tends to happen. But, I'll say this is, I don't know how many people got to follow what he did at UConn, but that kid is really a program. I don't think it's hyperbole to say legend. 2 things stand out. One was such an integral piece to those for those 2 national championships in the last 2 years. I'll be real. We might have talked about it last year, but UConn maybe doesn't win their Elite Eight game against Illinois last year without Hassan Diarra. That was the game, ironically, where UConn went on the 30-0 run. But in the first half, the whole team was struggling, and Hassan came off the bench, scored about 8-10 points in the first half, and he was really the difference. But I think as important as it was last year, 2 years ago, being part of national championship teams, this year wasn't a vintage UConn team. And there was, I think, actually a lot of frustration within the fan base, some of which has kind of come out in the last day or two, is that they didn't play with that UConn edge, that UConn chip on their shoulder. You know, it's the question that every fan base has: is NIL playing a factor? Why is the team not gelling? How much of it is Dan Hurley? And Hassan, the smallest guy on the floor, is showing up every single night, leaving it all on the floor. By the way, he has tendonitis in his knee. I mean, you'd see him on the sideline with this brace on his knee. I think it was some sort of heating warmer thing when he wasn't playing. And, you know, this was, I'll just be real, David, this 2024-2025 UConn team was kind of not a very likable team, but he was the one player that I think UConn fans really rallied around because he was leaving it on the floor every single night. And so I'm going to be sad to see him go. I know UConn fans are going to be sad to see him go. And I guess just thank you, Texas A&M. You know, I mean, I know he spent 2 years there. I think he wanted to get closer to home when he decided to hit the portal. And I was not aware of the stat that he has more NCAA tournament wins as a player than Texas A&M has in program history. But he's a guy that will be revered and loved for UConn. You know this, covering college sports, David, is it's not always the biggest star, the guy that goes on to have the best professional career that sometimes resonates with a fan base. And I think Hassan Diarra, with UConn fans specifically, is definitely one of those guys that will be remembered fondly pretty much for, you know, as long as people are talking UConn basketball.
Well, I was going to say, I think A&M basketball has several of those types of players, right? Like that's what Buzz is such a master recruiter of getting glue guys that you need on your team, like an Anderson Garcia, like a Solomon Washington, like a Henry Coleman, that they all have their huge days here and there, but really what they bring is the other things. Let's move on. Arkansas and Tech, I think it's one of your most anticipated games. To me, the way Arkansas is playing right now, man, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to go with them again.
Yeah, it's crazy, you know, and it's funny. I said on all my platforms, I thought the day the bracket came out, St. John's, that was the one team St. John's did not want to play because the way St. John's defends, you know, there's no defense for 3 or 4 guards that can get to the rim and then having 3 or 4 7-footers that can offensive rebound. But I give Coach Cal credit. You know, I was talking to somebody about this last night, is whatever you think of him, I was thinking about this, is that basically, I mean, they were 0-5 in the SEC, and what you got to remember is outside of one player, nobody was at that university at this time last year. And so 3 guys follow him from Kentucky, and it would have been easy for that team. 3 guys follow him from Kentucky, 3 recruits who had never visited Arkansas until he got that job. It would have been easy for all those guys to just kind of say, yeah, you know, screw this place. I didn't really want to be here anyway. I'm hitting the portal as soon as the season ends, whatever. And I think they've actually been pretty good for about a month now, starting with kind of that game at Rupp Arena. But they're playing their best basketball. They match up well. Texas Tech, for people who haven't maybe watched them as closely, they got the Big 12 Player of the Year, J.T. Toppin, who was originally from he went to New Mexico last year. But he was the Big 12 Player of the Year, but they don't have a ton of size. The thing with Texas Tech, they get really hot from 3, and they get really cold from 3. And so I think the big thing is you can't let them start the game 7 of 10, 8 of 11, because, you know, you'll be down, you know, 22-12 before you even know it. But if you can withstand that, you know, you're going to be in good position. I think that's going to be the big X factor. I think Texas Tech shot something crazy like 45 threes in their opening NCAA tournament game. And, you know, if they get super hot, it's like anything else. They can beat anybody. If they don't get hot, Arkansas is going to be in pretty good shape. But they are playing really about as well as anybody right now. And I'm kind of with you, David, is I think Arkansas can win that game, get to an Elite Eight. I don't know if they can potentially beat Florida if they do get there and what would be an all-SEC Elite Eight. But that is a team that's playing good basketball right now.
Talking to Aaron Torres here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. I'm only bringing it up because I think it's a funny topic, but Stephen A. Smith says had LeBron touched him, he would have thrown some hands. And then today on TV, he's talking about, you know, LeBron, I never opened my mouth when you didn't go to Kobe's memorial service or show up for Dwayne Wade's Hall of Fame speech, and he was responsible for part of your championships. This beef is fun, man.
So I was hosting Fox Sports Radio till 2 a.m. this morning Eastern time. And, you know, you get home and you're trying to decompress. You know how it is, a late night in the studio. You're just trying to decompress. I saw LeBron posted a video of Stephen A. Smith boxing on his Instagram, and let's just say Stephen A. Smith, nobody would ever mistake him for Floyd Mayweather. This is getting kind of crazy and personal. So two things stand out. One, I do find it funny. We haven't had a real NBA fight in probably 30 years, but yeah, Stephen A. was ready to brawl if LeBron decided to swing hands.
He wasn't ready.
Let me say this, man. Of course he wasn't. It's by the way, I don't know why this is the new thing in the media. Everybody threatens to beat everybody up when it would never happen. I don't know if you remember this, but remember when Kirk Herbstreit kind of took a dig at First Take after the Ohio State win in the playoff? And then Shannon Sharp was like, I thought he was my teammate. I better not see him in these streets. And I was like, you're not fighting Kirk. You guys are worth a combined $150 million. You're not fighting. Stop. So that's that. And then the only other thing I would say is, whatever. Maybe, listen, if you think that's going to happen, David, I hope you instigate it so we get it to happen, because I would love to watch. But the other thing, let me say this on a pseudo-serious note, like you and me and Stephen A., like we all have a job to do. And I don't think Stephen A. said anything about Bronny that is unfair. I mean, 100%. I've been critical of it since before the draft. Yeah, I was going to say, listen, I have 1/1000th the platform of Stephen A., and I give Stephen A. credit. I hold no ill will for the success that he's had in our business. But, like, all he said was that Dad helped you get to the NBA, which I'm sorry was the definitive truth. We all knew that. And so for LeBron to somehow be defensive about it is like, dude, kind of get over yourself. But it is kind of crazy how this thing is escalated because, like I said, I'll be quick because I know we got to go. I think LeBron is definitely in the final chapter of his career where he's in that FU, I'm just going to say exactly what's on my mind all the time phase. I'm kind of enjoying it. But I also don't really think that Stephen A. Smith said anything that was wrong.
AT, got to go. Thank you, buddy.
I know you do. Thank you. Talk next week.
Godspeed. Aaron Torres just turned down the opportunity to box David Nuño in College Station. When we come back on TexAgs Live, a fake segment, and then a real segment. Well, it's the fan show, so disregard. And then Logan Lee, a real segment. That and more. It's TexAgs. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Why'd I do this? Why'd I do it like I'm ringing the bell? Rollo Insurance Studio, Go Hour, presented by the... No, what? Muscle memory. Maria Griglione just had an interesting thought. I'm not going to talk about it. I think it would be funny.
The sodium thing?
No, not the sodium thing, about if you were like self-defense. Like,
oh, yeah. I don't think that I would.
It's not announced on the air. You don't think you would handle it.
I would be great, actually.
Yes.
Yes.
She's a black belt in life. All right. When we come, see, I told you it's a fake segment, guys. This is the content you're going to get. It's just we went a little long with Aaron Torres. The 10 o'clock hour is going to be 30 minutes of Fan Show Gentlemen. We're going to have 3, actually, because Matt Browning canceled. Then he said, I'm coming back. Kevin Ricketts making his debut, and Roy May. So that's the Fan Show portion of the program. We did the old switcheroo. Logan Lee will be in studio at 10:35. We'll just wrap up the basketball season, and that's it. Now we're all looking ahead at other stuff. So we've got that. During the Fan Show, we'll talk football. We'll talk baseball. We'll talk basketball. We'll talk softball. We'll talk all the sports. How about that? And we'll get to your text messages at 979-693-1150. You are listening to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. It is time for the Fan Show. Welcome in, everybody.
Everybody's favorite.
Matt Browning. Make sure everybody pull out your. It's always Matt.
No, mine's on.
Kevin, is yours on?
Is your light on?
Green. I need a green light. Roy, this is a great way to start the segment. Yeah, everybody's on. I don't know what you're talking about, Nicardo. By the way, Fan Show newbie. Kevin Ricketts, hello, sir. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. Me. Roy May, hello.
Old soul.
And Matt Browning.
Hey, good morning, man.
Hey, buddy. You seemed a little stressed. You're never stressed.
Bro, he was animated. I walked up. I could see him behind the glass talking to OB. He was waving his arm, talking with his hands.
Because we have rain today, is the first time I've just slowed down. It's
good.
It's been an absolutely crazy week and a half for us. So just a quick PSA. Anyone who had hail damage here in Bryan College Station, please use a local roofer. Just do not use the out-of-town guys, okay?
I've been getting phone calls from them, by the way.
Oh, they
do not disturb.
They will drive you crazy, but I mean, look, we have a really good group of guys here that are all local. Use anybody local, especially the ones with a good reputation. Do not use someone from out of town.
I mean, the guy calling me from the Colorado area, Kevin isn't local, like he says.
Hey, David, how are you?
This is in your area.
Yeah. No. I mean, the key to your roof is your warranty, and I mean, these guys disappear. You'll never see them again, and then if your roof leaks, we're the ones fixing it, and you're paying for it. So just don't do it.
So I want to tell a quick story about Kevin Ricketts. So Kevin's making his debut on the show today. We became buddies a couple years ago at the gym, and he invited me to his land, and we shot some guns. We had a good old time, and then he's like, "David, I want you to meet my cows." And I fed some cows that almost ran me over. Well, how do you explain it, Kevin? Like, you gave it to me, like, hey, all you have to do is, shush them away, and I'm throwing, and then this one cow, number six, came and like headbutted me, stepped on me, black toe, the whole thing. So thank you, Kevin, for that awesome introduction.
You're welcome. I'm not sure. I gave you range cubes, and so you had cow candy.
Yeah, well, when you think of cows, you think of David Nuño. Anyway, we go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Maria Griglione, can you start us off, please? What is on your mind, Kevin?
Well, of course, football teams in spring practice. It's interesting to watch progress there. And basketball team just finished. And it's going to be interesting to see how they rebuild that team. And then love to see our very talented baseball team
figure it out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Roy, what's on your mind?
Well, first and foremost, what's on my mind is David Nuño's personal running of the Bulls that I missed out on.
I think there's video evidence. Maybe if not me getting run over, but there is video, right? You shot video.
His country innocence is just so adorable.
Well,
it really
and Bird Dog started it. Like, he's gone from like MMA, I stay inside and I'm a family man and I go to soccer matches, to like I'm shooting guns and hanging out with cows.
Howdy, fellas.
I think what we should all do is change roles. I bring you guys to the hood. And I go.
He's going to take us to Cuba.
I'm from the hood, Mission Bend, Texas, which is a very Huxtable residency. All right.
No, but what is on my mind? It's the same thing's been on my mind because right now it's the most successful program on campus. Obviously basketball was it was a letdown. I had them get into the second weekend in every single one of my brackets, and it wasn't a homerism thing. So that was just kind of a disappointing collapse in that game, really. But man, they just keep piling up wins over Davis. They're just such a fun team to watch. The depth, getting to see Sydney Lestantine out there in the circle last night. And she's a budding star. Like she's the Emily Kennedy that she'll be the next Emily Kennedy for us. So just really excited with what Trisha Ford's got going on because baseball's in prove it to me mode. I mean, they are. And so generally when I watch games, because they both play at the same time for the most part, I'll have baseball on the TV and I'll have softball on my phone. I've flipped that now. So I've got softball on the TV and I have baseball on my phone. They're in prove it mode for me right now.
Brownie?
Pharrell. I'm glad
Did you say Pharrell?
No, I said, well, Roy, I'm glad for softball because that's really kind of the one bright spot right now. I get it. We just made it to March Madness. We were a 4th seed, but ultimately I think the basketball season was a disappointment overall. I'm just going to say it. It was a disappointment. Where we thought we would be, where we thought we were supposed to be, especially going in to 5 games left in the season. We were projected to be a 2 seed to dropping all the way to a 4 seed. Now we did get a win against Auburn in there. We beat Yale and really, I mean, we looked really sharp in that game. And then turn around and but same thing that plagued us all season long was giant droughts of scoring droughts and stuff against Michigan. Did that, and then you turn around and you look at the baseball team going from number 1 to not even ranked within the first month of the season. Especially after what happened with the football team starting 7-1, and it's been disappointing. And it was funny. There's the post on there was a post on the boards. The guy just said it happens in every Aggie's life. You know, did y'all receive this post?
I didn't see it. No.
Okay, it's about how you go from such disappointment to just being numb to it, and you don't even care anymore. To that kind of thing. And it was funny as I've read it, and I was like, well, these guys, they're about to attack him. And I start reading through the comments, and it's just a lot of people kind of starting to agree. So the apathy of it, because I think what's happened is that it goes from being, it doesn't feel, I guess it just doesn't feel the same. It's not an amateur sport. It doesn't feel like this almost anymore.
So are you saying that the A&M basketball season was not a successful season?
I think it was a successful season in terms of yeah, we got to the tournament, we won the first game,
4 seed,
but from expectations mean a lot, and we have expectations, especially going into this with the basketball team, and they played so well, even though we knew the warts, we saw them.
They did not meet the preseason expectations.
They did not meet our expectations.
And I would say even in-season expectations do, I think, evolve.
Yep.
And there was a point where I'm like, this team ain't going to win a game in the tournament until they were like, well, maybe they will because I like the matchup, right?
I mean, to have a senior-laden team, and the most experienced, probably basketball team we've ever had, with probably our second best player of all time. I'm always going to put AC first, but I mean Wade, for a career, has got to be the second greatest Aggie basketball player of all time for a career. To have all the pieces, everything seemed to be meshing together, and then to end it the way it did, yeah, I think it is a disappointment. I mean, any other year we're happy. I mean, we're not a basketball school. I mean, we're okay with.
It was a disappointing end to the season. I had a lot of fun this season.
I did.
Right? Like so that's the part I struggle with, Kevin, is that yeah, I expected more from this team.
Sure.
I also understand the tournament. I had a lot of fun watching these guys grow this year and in other years. So disappointing finish, disappointing that it didn't reach the expectations. Yes. But I still think it was a successful season considering one of the highest seeds they've ever had, beat the number 1 team. There's a lot of success in it. Ultimately, did not meet my hopeful expectations.
Sure, I agree with that. What a fun team to watch. Love those guys. And the scoring drought in the second half against Michigan was very disappointing. And would love to have seen them play in the second weekend. Didn't happen.
I wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah.
Roy, what do you think?
Well, I think it's interesting because you touched on it, and I think it's a consensus. We're not a basketball school. I think we all understand that.
Mm-hmm. I think we should be more of a basketball school.
I think we should.
We want to be. I think we want to be.
So, but I think this year, I think where it comes from, and again, I think this was a successful season. I think preseason, it was excitement. I don't think that anybody necessarily had any specific expectations. We were just like, man, we're going to be really good this year. Let's see where we end up. And then we got that middle stretch of the season. We're like, man, now we should be a Sweet 16 team. We need to be an Elite 8 team with this team. This got to be. And then all of a sudden we hit the skid, and then you get the one and done in the SEC tournament, and of course it's against the Sips. And so all of a sudden these expectations change, and everybody's already starting to say that, oh man, we slipped to a 4 seed. This is the disappointment. This is a failure. And it's not by any means, because being a 4 seed at Texas A&M, given the resources that we honestly allot towards basketball, I think a 4 seed is pretty damn good. But then again, it's just kind of this tumultuous roller coaster. Go out and beat Yale, no problem. You're thinking, all right, Michigan plays dirty basketball. I think it's a good matchup for us. So it's like this roller coaster of emotions. So it's easy coming off the Michigan game to say, man, what a disappointment of a season. But the reality is it's a successful season with a wildly disappointing end to it.
Correct.
And not just the game, the second half.
Yeah, I mean, it can be a success.
The last 13 minutes.
Yeah. It can be a success, but we can still be disappointed.
Yeah, the second
100%.
half. So if you take that and you couple that with baseball, and then you couple that with the end of the football season.
I want to go there for a second because I think that's an interesting point. But before we go there, I think had you told me Texas A&M before the season will make it to the second round but lose, with that team, I would have said disappointing year.
Yes, I agree.
Opening before the season.
Of course.
As I saw things play out, I'm like, this team has too many scoring droughts to really count on them for a run.
We knew the warts, and we saw them, and we knew this was coming. I mean, no one was surprised by it. Let's put it that way.
And back to your point about how sour would we be? And Kevin, you start us off. Had a lot of these themes not been interwoven with Texas, right? Losing Schloss to Texas, losing the last game of the season, November 30th, to Texas. Losing in the SEC tournament, that theme. I don't like to make it all about Texas, but I'm wondering if that is adding to the
100%
the issues.
Absolutely does. We hate to lose to Texas. Hate it.
And we just lost to Michigan, and I'm bringing this up, so I'm just curious. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Just I hate to lose to Texas. We lost 2 out of 3 in basketball to Texas. We lost in football to Texas, and we lost Schlossnagle to Texas. It's terrible.
Roy?
You said if. Yeah, no. It's 100%.
So if the same endings for these seasons would have happened, but that was different, would we still be down in the dumps?
I think we probably still would be. It'd just be a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's Texas unfortunately has a successful athletic department. It makes me want to throw up to say that out loud, but it's true. It's one of these things where it's just when it felt like we were down and getting kicked. That's really kind of the difference. Like, it's not like I got knocked to the mat. It's after I got knocked on the mat, like somebody ran into the ring with a chair and hit me with it, So it's disappointing, and obviously, first and foremost, I want to beat Texas and everything. I want to beat Texas in tiddlywinks, all right? I can't stand them, all right? But I think it's also just, man, it's been a hell of a year for Aggies, dude. It's just tough, right? We just kind of feel like we're getting beat up a little bit. The way football ended. Volleyball was a bright spot, but again, you don't have 100,000 people going to a volleyball match unless you're Nebraska and you have nothing else to do in the state. They'll pack in 100,000 for a volleyball match, but that's unheard of, right? Basketball, men had success, women didn't. So, disappointing on that side because there's still a lot of Aggies. Gary Blair is still top of mind, and the success that he had in the program. And then now it's number 1 team in the nation. We're like, all right, well, we're going to be really good this year. And just the bottom drops out on baseball, and we've got softball. But again, and some of the other sports, swimming and diving, golf, track, they're all doing great, but you hang your hat on the big 3, and it just feels like right now we're 0 for 3 this year.
I think it's a culmination of the fact that, number 1, they've come in. They're the bad guys. I mean, it's like cheering for it's like cheering for the Empire to beat the Rebels, right? They're the bad guys, and they get to come in. We did all the work. We've been here a decade. We left them. We did. So it's a combination of that, them coming in and then they have success in their first year. They beat us in football. They beat us twice, 2 out of 3 times in basketball. They steal the coach. Their baseball team looks good. Ours, which had the most talent preseason, is now not even ranked anymore. They're sitting over there laughing. Like, I hear them all the time, these yahoos that, hey, none of them actually went to the school. I can say that because I'm a T-shirt ag. But, it drives me. Hey, we actually saw the other night, we were at the soccer game. I went and watched that soccer game, and there was a kid in the stands, and he was wearing Texas. And I was like, hey, and it was at Bryan High. And I said, you're not supposed to wear that around here. That could get you in trouble. And he said, so, yeah. And he goes, and then somebody said, well, he actually goes to the school. I said, what? I said, let me shake your hand. I've never met one of you before. I've never met anybody that's actually been to that college, that actually went to that college. So, but that coupled with everything else that the way the season has gone for everybody else, it really is. That's why, but again, that's what I love about softball. Softball is really kind of the one bright spot. And like Roy says,
there's other bright spots though.
There are some, but right this second, like as we're sitting here right now.
Women's tennis.
Oh, well, yeah.
Track and field.
Yes, there's other stuff.
I was at the
men's tennis, top 15, I believe. Mm-hmm. Men's and women's golf. So there are other sports. It's just the big 3 that we focus on.
Of the big team sports.
There have been some black eyes.
Yeah, the big team sports, and of course, softball.
Swimming and diving, by the way.
Softball's so fun. That team's so fun to watch. And just Roy lights up every time he talks about it.
I was at the indoor track SEC championship track meet.
What a fun. The men won?
The men won SEC champs. What a fun thing that was to watch.
That environment in there is bonkers.
It is bonkers. Isn't it fun? So loud.
Isn't it fun? Yeah.
How many miles do you run today?
4.
Okay, see, this guy just runs daily. Roy, when we talk about what Buzz can do moving forward, there's a part of me that is excited, and this is not a shot at what the group that he had before, but he had such a core nucleus that was the brand of basketball they were going to play. I feel like he can rewrite what buzzball is moving forward because he's got to replace 8 guys.
Yeah, he's got basically a completely fresh canvas, minus a couple dudes are going to be back. So, and I've been following the Luke's thread, that he posted for the transfer, kind of the tracker for it. And I'm kind of the same way. Like, he can really kind of go out and, again, we went to the tournament, we won a game, there's success there, there's success you can show he's trying to build on. So these are recruiting tools on top of NIL or anything else. You can point to the attendance this year. It was great at Reed, like great attendance for basketball. And so I'll be interested to see if buzzball stays the same or if he continues to change. Because I think one of the things everybody loves about him is how dynamic of a leader and a person he is, like a man, a leader of men really is what he is. But he also preaches about being dynamic and understanding that change is coming and having to change with the winds. Sometimes. And so I'll be excited to see if he goes after and kind of finds the same guys, kind of the same kind of guys we already had, or if he goes out and what he finds means he morphs a little bit his philosophy as far as the approach to the game, X's and O's. Yep. So I'm excited. I think it's crazy. All these people are basically writing off Buzz even being a coach next year here. I'm like, are you insane? We're not fired him. He's not walking away. He believes in here. He believes in this place. I truly believe he does. And so, I'm excited to see what he builds. But the portal's crazy in every sport.
If you can keep Payne and Solo, and then with the portal, chips, man. You can keep Payne and Solo, and you with the portal. I mean, you never know. Basketball's a funny game.
What do you think about kind of recreating what Aggie basketball is about with this new incarnation, with Pharrell Payne maybe being the cornerstone of that?
Yeah, he's a tremendous athlete. Loves Solo. Nobody plays harder, especially on defense. And we have to replace a lot of high point scoring guard play.
Yeah. And if you look at Luke's thread, there's a lot of guys that can score. They can shoot the 3 ball that they're talking to. So we'll hit a break here. We'll come back with another segment of the Fan Show. Right now we're talking about Bird Dog, Aggie owned and operated company creating access to hunting opportunities. I want you to think about an Airbnb for hunting experiences, right? So if you like to go hunting, let them set it up for you. If you've got a ranch, you've got land, they can help take care of that for you, because what they'll do is they can find hunters for you if you want to do that, or if you just want to make some money on your land, they can help find those tax benefits. That's what they're experts at doing. Some of their landowners are making an extra $100 to $500 per acre of land. They can be your personal consultant and help you maximize the income on your land. So remember Bird Dog for all of your full-service hunting experiences. And for you landowners, let them help you make money on your land. The website, birddogit.com. That is birddogit.com. Check it out.
And we're back. TexAgs Live. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate you. Presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Aggieland Express Car Wash, your car wash tradition with the friendliest staff. They recycle 100% of their water. 2 great locations. The one on William D. Fitch, behind the Shipleys, and the newest location, 2528 Texas Avenue South. They offer all the washes that you want. The Texas Avenue location offers the full-service wash. Ask about their 3 levels of full service, and we're going to give one away. Call us up, 979-693-1150. The first caller will get themselves a $40 value, brought to you by Aggieland Express Car Wash. That's for the Texas Avenue location. All right, gentlemen, fan show guys, let's continue chatting. Shall we talk some football?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Gloomy Browning. I'm used to this guy being a happy.
I am. I'm happy. It's been a long week. Number one, it's rainy outside. Number two, and I mean, with everything else Aggie sports related, it's just kind of like.
Yeah, outside of that, Mrs. Lincoln, how did you enjoy the play?
Well, rumor has it I'm going to be interviewing a former Aggie quarterback who's playing professional football somewhere after this show for tomorrow's show. So there is some good news in the works. And pro days today.
Mr. Tannehill?
No, not Mr. Tannehill.
Mr. Mond?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
Mind your business.
No, mind my business.
It's funny, you talk about this, and Browning brought it up with that thread on the boards, right? Just talking about the apathy. But what is probably one of the biggest, like once you get past the actual pillars of Texas A&M University, right? What's the next pillar? Optimism. We excel at it. And quite frankly, let's talk football, man. Let's go.
Well, I want everybody to give me reasons for optimism and pessimism. Okay? I'm going to start off with Roy. Happy Roy.
Yeah, I've made a career out of being a sunshine pumper, basically. I'm excited for this team, and my excitement is very specifically because I believe in what Coach Elko is building. And that's it, man. I'm not going to sit here and talk to you about second-string wide receivers. I'm not going to talk to you about linebackers. I want to tell you right now, I believe in Coach Elko to get this thing, and it's not off the track. So it's not like we're putting it back on the tracks. It's just at the end of the year we kind of had that letdown. I believe in what he's building, and I'm still going to say, if you can do it at Duke, you can pretty much do it anywhere, right? That's like building a basketball program at A&M is like building a football program at Duke.
Yeah.
All right? And so I believe in what he's doing. I believe in the fan support. I believe in how he's able to work the portal and identify the needs. And so for me, it's solely the head man in charge. I'm all in on it. So I'm excited. That's it, man.
Kevin?
I'm excited too. I also agree with Roy in that I believe in Mr. Elko. I'm excited about Marcel Reed returning, and he's going to be more mature. He's going to have grown up a bit, and expectations are going to be higher for him than they were this season. I'm also excited about some of the receivers that we added through the portal, and enter every football season optimistic.
Yeah, that's good. Matt?
Hope springs eternal. Oh boy.
I know. I agree with it, dude. It is. My optimism does lie with Coach Elko. I do believe in Coach Elko. I just love everything he says. The guy is just, he really is. Seems like he is straight shooter. You get what you ask with him. I mean, and he understands that the discipline of it is different. You can tell it's a different team. But pessimism-wise, we look at the schedule. First of all, the schedule is all of our hardest games this year. We're at home.
Let's have Nick put up the schedule right here.
Now all of our hard games are on the
road. Yeah, we're gonna start off like 6-0.
So I just want to put, which of those games would you identify as? Man, I'm worried about that road game.
Notre Dame, Arkansas, LSU, Missouri, Texas.
Okay, let's go through them.
Oh boy.
Notre Dame. Who's your quarterback? They don't know. All right, let's move down the list. Which is the other one?
Arkansas.
Arkansas. That's going to be an interesting game. I'm going to say today I'm picking A&M. Well, yeah, what does A&M do against Arkansas? They beat that ass.
I mean, it's just every year it's been their Super Bowl, and yes, but now we're at Arkansas.
Okay, LSU.
More Jerry World.
Very worried about LSU.
Mm-hmm.
Very worried.
Tough.
Okay, it's always tough. Mm-hmm. I have my questions about LSU, but I'm very worried.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Missouri. Who's their quarterback? Oh, that's right. They don't have one. They may play without one. Or they may play with Drew Pine. Good. Let's go. Okay. Texas. A lot of talent. They're not the same Texas team. We'll see if they can live up to what they did last year. They'll have preseason expectations.
We'll see if Texas can reload because Texas did have a lot of guys go in the draft.
They did,
and they really haven't had that in a while. I mean, remember there was a narrative we were able to make fun of Texas. We're like, you guys ever gonna have anybody drafted?
And again, I'm saying all this to you, recognizing yes, those games scare me 100%. But if you're gonna poke holes at A&M, not you people, I can poke holes at those teams too.
Sure,
because people are poking holes. Well, how's A&M gonna recover from that defensive line? Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
You know, are they going to learn how to tackle? Well, I hope so. Yeah. I really do. Yeah. But there are. We beat Missouri with Luther Burden, Theo Weiss, right? They got a completely different quarterback situation now. Like I'm not saying that's a guaranteed win because winning on the road for A&M over the last few years has been very difficult.
That's my point. Is that it's on the road.
But A&M did win a couple road games last year. They did. Okay, at home, I think A&M should beat Florida at home. I don't buy all the hype around Florida. I think they should. Who else is at home, Nick, if you can put that schedule back up?
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State. You should win that game. Today, I'm talking optimistic Dave.
Sure.
So you should win that game.
Optimistic Dave. South Carolina's
Auburn.
Auburn, I'm worried about. Sure. But they should have won last year.
Should have.
Okay? They didn't. And going back to Notre Dame. Notre Dame, quality program, no doubt. But don't we all agree, throw 2 passes that get completed in that game, they might win that one? They had no offense at all.
Yeah.
Right?
No, that part's true.
And they were going to have to replace a very good defensive line and a winning quarterback.
Well, and here's another one.
Doesn't mean they won't, but I've got to see that.
I love it. There's no negative Nuño today.
Who did we play?
No, I'm going to go opposite always of what you guys think because that's what a talk show host should do.
Good.
Yeah.
Who did we play before Notre Dame last year?
No one.
Nobody.
Exactly. So we had a top team come into this house for the first game.
With a new coach.
And with a quarterback that turns out wasn't the guy.
Yeah.
And a new coach. Now we get 2 warm-up games before we go to South Bend next year.
Again, I can see reasons that this team goes 7-5 next year. I see it. I also see a reason to say, well, hold on.
Yeah.
I think the secondary is going to be better. And if the secondary, let's not forget this. Why am I talking like,
Yeah, I like the energy. Bring it.
I can also say this. The season went south when?
Le'Veon Moss went down.
Healthy, what happens? We win some of those games.
And Ruben Owens. Okay, so you're talking about...
Oh, wait. Anamori?
Anamori, yep.
And I'm sorry, I was a little critical of EJ during the season. He looked really good in the bowl game, okay?
Yes.
So, and you got a couple of freshman studs, too. That running back room, I'm choosing to be optimistic. There will be a moment in time where I'm going to choose to be pessimistic. But right now, for this conversation's sake, I see reasons of let's not write it off yet.
No, not writing it off, but just it's just the natural pessimism of this time of year. And this time of year, everything else has just gone so swimmingly. Let's talk about football. Let's figure out.
The other thing that's difficult about that schedule is we don't play a home game for a month.
Yeah,
and that's tough.
You know what though? Yeah. If we're going to be the program we need to be, it is what it is. 1 year, we may have an easier SEC-looking schedule. And I think last year and this year are manageable for SEC reasons. The SEC West schedule that A&M used to have, I think it's harder than that.
I would genuinely love to have a conversation about what our expectations are. Are we in rebuild mode? I mean, no one here is thinking, this is a national championship.
No, the expectations I think right now are like this is an 8-4 team.
Let's get better.
Expectations.
Yeah, this is a year of let's get better. Let's make strides. Is that where we're at? Or are we going? This might be a year where we take a step back. Is this national championship? Is this a below 500 team? That's a good question because I bet you're going to get a variety of answers to that question.
Before we go, what do you? And I'm not comparing this to 2020, but what was the conversation? I wasn't doing the show, but you guys were on the fan show. What was the conversation heading into 2020? You had questions about the offensive line. You weren't sure. You didn't see 9-1 happen.
You couldn't hear us through the masks.
Oh.
Well.
What did you say?
We were doing it Zoom. Zoom. Yeah, everything was on Zoom. That's right. So.
You were wearing a mask on Zoom? Weirdo.
I don't think there was...
I was driving with one.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're kind of hitting on the right points. I mean, there were concerns about a lot of aspects for the team, and then look what they went out and did. I know that, and especially from a national level, because a lot of people were kind of all in on the Aggies last year, and they got bit, right?
Yeah.
And so that the one time they do it, now they're going to shy away for another 6 years. I think I don't really care what the national narrative is, This is not a rebuild year. And if you ask them over there, there's no such thing as a rebuild year. This is get to the playoffs year.
They got a really good offensive line. I mean, that was a huge question mark last year. I don't think it's a question mark this year. And they're coming back, so that's good. We got to drop it there. Nice debut, buddy. Appreciate you.
Enjoyed it.
Good job.
Thanks, Dave.
Pretty good.
Good seeing you, buddy.
You started here, but you finished here,
Man,
buddy.
you know what? I'm far.
You're moving on up.
I'm there.
All right. Was your car hit recently by the hailstorm? Don't trust, and this fits right in with you, out-of-town pop-up tent with your car. Trust a locally owned and operated business. Classic Collision, restoration. They specialize in paintless dent repair for hail damage repair. So those out-of-town pop-up tents are going to be gone soon. You warned us about that earlier. Who's going to stand by their work whenever they leave town? Not them. Let somebody local take care of you. Let Classic Collision and Restoration handle your insurance claim for your hail damage repair. Keep it local. They've been around for 25 years. Countless customers have trusted them. They have top quality auto repair, and they're going to make sure that nobody else takes care of you better than them. I'm just adding some of this to it.
Keep your money local. Just keep
Thank
your
you.
money local.
Don't get your car fixed. Get it restored with Classic Collision and Restoration. Aggie owned and operated by Doug Leopold. Class of 93. Gig 'em. Classic Collision and Restoration today at 979-779-8399 or online at classiccollisionandrestoration.com.
Good song here. Sorry? You didn't like your picture?
No, I mean, whatever.
I thought you looked
Welcome to TexAgs Live.
Presented by? I'm going to do the Olin thing with you.
Rollo Insurance.
No, that's the studio.
Rollo Insurance Studio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Yeah. This hour is presented by? Menon. Nobody.
Oh, there you go.
Nobody.
Restore Hyper Wellness.
There we go. Hey, we should talk after this show.
We should.
I like commission. TexAgs Live, as I mentioned. Logan Lee's here. We're going to, at this point, season's been done, right? So we're kind of looking ahead, but I'm going to ask you the same thing I asked the fan show guys, but we'll take it maybe a couple different directions. Successful season, yes or no?
Can we break it down into different seasons? Non-conference was great.
Yep.
Conference was good. Postseason was bad. I mean, that's as plain and simple as you can.
So you say because they lost in the SEC tournament and they only won one game in the NCAA tournament, it was a disappointing March.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't think they would be happy with it. I'm sure the team, the coaching staff, obviously the fan base is disappointed in the outcome.
Yeah.
Because there was so much positivity going into the season. And I know I listened to you. You had said expectations versus, gosh, what was the other one? You gave it a breakdown.
It was a good breakdown.
It was a really good breakdown.
Expected results versus that is expectations. Desired results.
Yes, expectations versus desires, and then you even said desire. You went off tangent on that one.
Sorry.
Expectation wise, A&M did not meet expectations.
Let me pause you there. Okay, they didn't meet
for preseason.
There we go.
For preseason. During the season,
it evolved, right?
And everything always evolves because preseason you don't necessarily know what you're getting into because of the transfer portal, because of the youngsters, because of whatever may happen.
Non-conference, you probably maybe they're an Elite 8 team, right?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely. But then you get into conference, and even in conference, winning double-digit games in the SEC this season, I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
You did a good job. The 4-game slide was rough, and I thought had they not done that, they would have been a 3 seed. Had they won a game in the conference tournament,
maybe a 2 seed.
No, probably a 3 seed. But still, that changes the dynamic of March Madness for Texas A&M.
But I don't know why I pointed. But I said during the year, and I think you agreed with me, this losing streak or win streak to me doesn't really matter when it gets to March because I think this team plays a certain brand of basketball that they're always playing with fire. And they always have a chance to win because of the way. But if they go on a 5-minute drought, I don't care if it's against Yale. You don't win that game against Yale if you go 6 minutes without scoring.
Unfortunately, that's been the case for 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And is that a product of Buzz and his coaching staff and how they prepped the team and prepared the team to play, or is that a product of personnel? Because this personnel has been with A&M for 4 years now, and so they've grown and they developed in this particular style. Is that product going to change next year because they had a mass exodus of 8 seniors and grads?
I think it might, don't you think? Because I don't want to say he was stuck with this system. He benefited with this system because that's what the skill set that he got. Now, did he only look for that skill set? No, I think throughout the years he kind of had to add a piece like Anderson because you were lacking in the front court, and you had to add a Dexter Dennis because Q left, and it gave you a little bit more of a defensive identity. Once you had that solo, come on, let's be part of this, right? So completely clean canvas now.
If there's one thing we know, Buzz looks at statistics, and he looks at rotations and lineups and what works well and what didn't work and how they can get better. He has a chance to go in the portal and remake an entire team of what he wants.
Yeah.
And, it's going to be tough because transfer portal, kids are asking for a lot of money, obscene amounts of money. which that needs to be reeled back in.
Can I read this to you?
Yeah, go for it.
Maryland coach Kevin Willard said,
I saw that.
The transfer portal's crazy. There are kids asking for $2 to $3 million right now. The money has exploded crazy because we have no guardrails, we have no rules. It's badly rule implemented, and agents are taking advantage of it. And then I read some of the smaller schools are outbidding the bigger schools because the bigger schools bid more on football. So the smaller schools are like, I'm going to dominate in basketball because they can't keep adding money to this too.
All facts. All facts.
Facts on facts.
Now, I do think that going all in on one player at a mid-major will allow more parity.
Mm-hmm.
And March Madness is going to be even crazier as we continue to go because there are going to be some mid-major schools that are able to grab a guy that would have never played at a mid-major, that should be at a high major, but they can grab him. He can carry them through the conference. They can then add 4 seniors around him, and all of a sudden, they've got a heck of a team that can make a Cinderella run through postseason. And so it's going to allow for unknown teams to make more waves in March. But it is so hard to determine, is that kid worth $1 million? Is that kid worth $2 million? Oh, where are we getting the $2 million to pay him when we already have $1.5 million solidified on our roster? Because nowadays, the first people that you recruit is your current team.
Yep.
You have to renegotiate all of these NIL deals every single year and maybe that's hey, maybe Buzz did a fantastic thing. Get rid of everybody on the team so you don't have to renegotiate. You only have to renegotiate with 2 guys. And then you go to the transfer portal with whatever you have left.
Those 2 guys may get in trouble for this. Are gonna,
they're going to get paid.
I mean,
they're going to be.
People are going to now. But here's where I give Buzz an advantage, and I might be wrong, and I know Green talks, but it feels to me, outside of the locker room, it feels to me those guys value family more than income opportunities.
You are 100% correct in that. The way Buzz builds relationships last. And that can be seen with Wade Taylor, who was offered more money at other schools, but he stayed here. A&M gave him a bump.
Yep.
But he stayed here because of the relationship. So it's not just, hey, I'm going to leave just for more money. Now, if you're not happy or if you don't have those relationships, money's going to be
right.
You're just going to take the payday and go play basketball for more money. But when they have those relationships, which Buzz and his staff do a great job of,
that they are
you don't have to pay as much. You still got to pay.
Right. And every situation is different, right? But I do think that Buzz recruits certain types of players that they have to fit into what he wants, and what he wants isn't just a jump shooter, right? He wants somebody.
I'm sure he wants one right now.
A jump shooter who will read, who will dive for loose balls, who will pray. There's a lot of things like to fit in the Buzz world. Like you've got, and I mean it. I would love for my kids to play for a coach like Buzz. Would love it because he's more. It appears to me from this seat, it's more than basketball. Basketball is what we grade them on. But he is building relationships that these guys, they all told me in the locker room as they were leaving. Like, I'm going to be in this guy's wedding. I'm going to be in his wedding. Like, we are a family. And that maybe happens, but I think he's the lead at that in today's culture.
There's no question he's a lead in building that camaraderie and that togetherness in the locker room, off the court. But at the same time, you got to win.
Yeah.
And he did a great job. Like I said, he did a great job in non-conference. He did a great job in conference. Postseason was not a great job. And it's unfortunate.
But is it almost too late to fix it postseason? Because I just think the reason they lost to Michigan, I think the Penn State loss a couple years ago still angers me more than any loss because I just didn't believe in that strategy, okay?
Yeah.
I don't think it was a strategy thing. Maybe I'm wrong against Michigan. What I think happened was Dusty May made some necessary changes, and A&M missed shots. The one thing I disagreed with, and it might have been a byproduct of the situation, was it felt like they stopped going to Pharrell Payne.
Absolutely.
He was unstoppable.
When Michigan started making that run, and when things get hard, what do people do? They go back to their habits. Well, the habits of this team is firing off shots whenever they want to, trying to go get offensive rebounds. That was a good habit for the majority of the season. But you have to be able to adjust, and you have to stay disciplined against Michigan, who has 2 7-footers, and everybody else that is across the board probably taller than A&M's roster. You can't just fire off shots and expect to go get an offensive rebound.
Let's hit a break here. We'll have a super short one because we went long there.
Okay.
Right now, the difference is real. Rollo Insurance. You need to call them up for your insurance needs. 888-44-ROLLO or go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. They have 60 offices in the great state of Texas. Their headquarters is right here in College Station on Highway 6. They will take care of you for all of your insurance needs, whatever it may be, car insurance, farmer's insurance, business insurance, personal car, whatever. They have it, and they will take amazing care of you. You'll have a personal agent that you can call for any situation, and they're also going to do all the shopping for you. So you'll know that you're getting the best possible deal and rate out there because that's what Rollo Insurance stands by. The website, again, rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs, 888-44-ROLLO. That is rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs, 888-44-ROLLO. It's Rollo Insurance. That would have been embarrassing.
That would have been bad.
That was on air. There you go.
Fine.
That would have been bad. We're talking about Logan's jump shot. TexAgs Live, presented by
Wow.
David. I don't know. I don't remember it. I remember you hitting some shots.
presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. David in Houston just said this, and I can't necessarily disagree with him, but I'm just going to read it out loud, okay?
Are you talking about yourself in third person?
No, this is a different David.
Okay.
Believe it or not, multiple Davids that listen to the show. Yeah. Not a successful season. Adjusting expectations postseason is cope. We heard for years that Buzz's system required years of togetherness, and this was going to be the year, and we got the same thing. Terrible shooting, no offense, feel-good team bounce in the first weekend. Respectfully, of course. I can't disagree. I cope. It's a 3-hour radio show, 5 days a week, plus post-game wraps and everything else. So I slice things through multiple views. You're not wrong. I am coping. I can also tell you that I do move the goalposts as things. The preseason expectations for A&M football last year, with a healthy Connor Wegman and a mentally ready Connor Wegman, was higher than when he went out. That's just the truth. Okay? When he wasn't playing at that level, it's just the truth. When Le'Veon Moss got hurt, not that anybody, it was over, right? So this team was that team that they missed a bunch of shots all year long. I can't disagree with anything. I'm just telling you, as the season went on, my expectations weren't as high based on the droughts. That's it.
So wait, David.
He said respectfully. You could tell somebody, hey, you know what?
No. I get it. But my question is, so you're telling me the expectation that the preseason expectation is what you're supposed to go off of? How can you do that? You don't know the different puzzle pieces of what's going on. You don't know the ins and outs. So this is just something that you're creating a narrative off of an article that you read from the Houston Chronicle.
It was probably TexAgs.
Or TexAgs.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say TexAgs, but...
It was probably Luke. Luke told everybody they're going to go.
So exactly. So you're telling me that you believe Luke preseason...
Auburn, greatest team in the history of sports. They might be, but...
I mean, they could be.
They would lose to UNLV. Come on.
Facts.
You're
correct on that. But I also want to ask David in Houston, does he think that the non-conference play was unsuccessful?
Very successful.
Does he think that the conference play was successful?
Semi-successful.
I said non-conference was great. Conference was good. They did good in conference.
And tournament, not good.
Tournament, not good.
I think it can be a disappointing season that I enjoyed. I enjoyed this team. I enjoyed these guys. I enjoyed the run during the season. I also thought with that schedule, gosh, what's going to happen? They came closer to meeting their expectations. Well, we got like 9 seconds than everybody else on campus, or at least of the big three.
Look, they had a good season.
2.
They've got to go for next season.
Mañana, bye.